6, he set the home run mark for
Let's do this. It's the Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Happy Friday. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show. And Chris, I'll be honest, man. I woke up this morning a little perplexed. I woke up this morning and I weighed 179.4 pounds. It's the lightest I've been in a while. I was perplexed because I've skipped the gym the last 2 days. And I have a hunch on why I'm losing the weight. You ready?
Let's hear
We're doing the show from the base of Satan's nutsack.
it.
So I'm just sweating out all the weight.
That is accurate.
It's hot in here.
Absolutely.
It's okay, though. Not as hot as the takes, though. Right? There we go. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, maybe you're watching the show on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app. Biggest event of the weekend happens tonight. Knicks Spurs Game 2. We're going to talk about that. We got a funless Friday as Team USA plays Germany tomorrow in their final tune-up before the World Cup begins. Fever, big win last night against the Dream and Angel Reese. What are you shaking your head for?
Didn't they lose?
Did they?
I think they
No,
lost.
they won. I swear they won.
I think ESPN was wrong.
Yeah, no, they won by 12. I watched the game.
Oh.
Yeah.
All right.
I was like, you started shaking your head. I was like, are you shaking your head because the WNBA, like, there are no big wins?
My report said they lost.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They want to update that a little bit.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson retired. I don't want to talk about that. I want to talk about the lesson that you learn from Russell Wilson when you look at his career. New segment today. We're going to do dueling trivia at 1 o'clock. Can't wait. And we'll give away tickets for Holiday World at 2 o'clock. Tony East joins at 2:20. But tonight, we got Game 2 of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and the Spurs. The Knicks currently hold a 1-0 series lead over San Antonio. Game 1 was incredibly ugly. Neither team shot the ball well. The Knicks shot 41% from the floor. The Spurs shot a measly 36% of the floor. Kind of reminds me of 90s basketball, honestly. The Knicks shot 31% from three. The Spurs shot 26% from three. It was an ugly game. Both teams have been excellent all playoffs long on the defensive end of the floor. I thought that was more of the story opposed to the offenses being bad. I like the Knicks to figure it out offensively more, though, than I like for the Spurs to figure it out for a few reasons. One, Jalen Brunson's the best offensive player in this series. We saw it at the end of Game 1. When the Knicks needed buckets, Jalen Brunson got it done. 13 points in the fourth quarter. And he's a guy who's gotten it done time and time again in the playoffs. We saw it in Game 1 with Wemby. Okay? He's not a polished offensive player quite yet. Whereas with Brunson, very polished, very, very good player. Wemby looks unsure of what he wants to get into when he got the basketball at times during Game 1. And what I mean by that is whenever Jalen Brunson knows his team needs a bucket, He's going to go to the rim, and he's going to get to that little pull-up elbow jumper, or he's going to get a layup. Like, he's looking for one of those two things. With Wemby, I don't think he really has a specific go-to move on offense yet. And that is why I trust Jalen Brunson with the basketball more than anyone else on the floor. Secondly, the Knicks have better shooting than San Antonio does. Space is the number one commodity that teams are looking for in the NBA. I think it's part of why Pacer fans are like, let's go get Trey Murphy. Let's go add another 40% three-point shooter to this group. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, you have to have space to be able to run your offense. Okay, and the Knicks have more space because they have more shooting. Julian Champagnie and Devin Vassell are the only shooters for San Antonio that when they rise up, I expect for the basketball to go in. The Vassell thing is confusing because he's only shooting 34% from three, but there's just a little extra faith in there. Okay, the Knicks left Stephon Castle open multiple times in game one. As well as Dylan Harper was playing, they're like, yep, you go ahead and you take that three. You go right ahead. Victor Wembanyama is a streaky shooter at best. Julian Champagnie is the only 40% three-point shooter in the playoffs on the Spurs roster. No one else, San Antonio, in the playoffs, shoots it better than 36.5% from three. Meanwhile, the Knicks have 5 players shooting it at a 40% clip or better from three in the playoffs. And it's not fluky. It's not like they have bad shooters lighting it up. Miles McBride, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Jose Alvarado, and Landry Shamet. Those are the 5 guys for New York who are lighting it up. And they're all legitimately good shooters. You saw it during the regular season. And guess what? Mikal Bridges is a good shooter. He's not on that list of 40%. So is Jalen Brunson. When you have that much shooting on your roster, you're just naturally tougher to guard because you can maintain the space needed to allow Jalen Brunson to put it on the deck or for Karl Anthony Towns to put it on the deck. That was part of the issue with the Spurs in game one. Wemby would put the ball on the floor and help would come running because there's just not enough shooting around him. So I like the spacing of New York more than I like the spacing for San Antonio. Third, the Knicks have the ability to impact what makes the Spurs defense special, and the Spurs can't do that to the Knicks. Victor Wembanyama's rim protection is why San Antonio has the defense that they have. It's why they have, by the numbers, it's the second best defense in the playoffs behind New York. But eye test would tell you the Spurs have the best defense in this series. The Knicks' defense is good, not because they have elite rim protection, but because they have great wing defenders, they guard the ball well, and they rotate incredibly well. There's not really any way to disrupt that. The Knicks disrupted Wemby's presence on defense in game one because the Spurs put Wemby on Karl Anthony Towns, and Karl Anthony Towns pulled Wemby away from the rim. And because of that, the Spurs defense gave up open looks. The Knicks just didn't make them. I thought the Knicks got better looks offensively compared to what the Spurs got. So analytically speaking, the Knicks are up in the series 1-0. Shout out Kenny Atkinson. Okay, and that was because of the spacing. Brunson and Wemby not being able to hang around the rim. The Spurs got much tougher shots, and it was a lot more one-on-one. And I'm very intrigued to see how the Spurs are going to try to counter all of these things in game two. Okay, here's what I think they'll do. First, they'll do what everyone thought that they were going to do to start the series. They'll put Victor Wembanyama onto Josh Hart. That'll allow him to be around the rim a little bit more because Josh Hart isn't a good shooter. Okay, so it'll be up to Josh Hart to shoot the Spurs out of that defense if that's what San Antonio chooses to do. You'll have to be wary of Josh Hart crashing the glass because obviously if you're not guarding a guy, you give him a free run to the rim, and then all of a sudden Josh Hart has 20 rebounds this game as opposed to 15 like he did in game one. By the way, to score 3 points and be plus 22 in the box score like Josh Hart was in game one, incredible stuff there. Incredible stuff. So if they move Wemby onto Hart, that means they'll probably move Castle onto Karl Anthony Towns, and that'll allow Wemby to do what he does best, and that's play help defense. That's what these great rim protectors do. Very rarely do you find rim protectors that are excellent one-on-one perimeter defenders. They shine when another good defender forces someone to the rim, and then they can come over and block the shot. That is where Wemby's at his best. So I expect for them to put him on Hart so that can happen tonight. Secondly, the San Antonio offense will be better, I think, about not standing around and watching. There was a lot of that in game one. I think it's part of why the Spurs look tired, because it's way harder to get a shot up when you're having to dribble 7 times, get bumped, go to the rim, get bumped again, and then you take a tough layup. That exerts a lot more energy than drive and kick, swing, attack a closeout, and get a layup. So I think they'll be better about that, and I think it'll help with their energy level. They seemed a little low on energy when the fourth quarter hit. You know, maybe 5-hour energy can step in and slide them the little things maybe. I don't know. I think we'll see more screen and roll from San Antonio, even though I thought the Knicks did a really good job of defending Wemby when he rolled to the rim. And that is such an important thing. Victor Wembanyama reminds me of Steph Curry when he rolls to the rim. And I know on the surface that doesn't seem to make a lot of sense, but let me elaborate a little bit. With Steph Curry, you know you can't leave him open. If he gets even, half a second of space, the defense freaks out because they know that if he's open, it's probably going in and you're giving up 3 points. So anytime he's running off of a screen and he's got separation from whoever's guarding him, he causes this mass panic, and then you see his gravitational pull because everyone on the defense goes running towards him, and then he either makes a 3 or he makes the right pass, and they score. With Wemby, it's the same thing, except if he gets behind your defense, it's a dunk. Okay, think of him like Randy Moss. If he's even, he's leaving. Okay? So if Wemby gets even with the furthest back defender on any defense, or if he gets behind them, then it's a very easy lob over the top. He's got good hands, so he'll catch it, and then it's a dunk. That's the reality of it. And so they're going to try to find a way, San Antonio is, of getting him those easy buckets in this game. I don't think he caught a single alley-oop in game one. I think he only had one dunk. It was the one where he jumped off 2 feet from the little, I don't know what the line's called, but he had like one left-handed dunk, and he had to go get it on his own. That's weird. Wemby should dunk the ball at least 3 times a game if you're San Antonio, probably more than that. So they're going to try to find a way to fix that. Outside of that, I don't think that they'll look to change much. I think overreactions can really hurt teams, whether it's you lose a playoff series and you overreact and you change up your roster too much. Maybe you don't land a top 4 pick, and so you trade away a bunch of things to go get Trey Murphy. I think that can ruin your roster. I think, you lose game 1 of a series and you overreact to it and you make too many adjustments, and all of a sudden you lose game 2 as well. Let's just remember, the game was tied with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left to go. They had a chance to win, and then their offense got stagnant, and they lost. Defensively, they were really good. They only gave up 105 points. Usually, if you do that, you win games. Again, their issue, the offense got stagnant. And they can move the ball better, if they can keep Wemby at the rim defensively, then the Spurs are going to be fine, and they'll probably win the game tonight. I expect them to win the game tonight to even up the series at 1 game apiece. That'll lead to an awesome Game 3 in New York. With that being said, the Knicks are going to shoot the ball better in this game than they did in Game 1. That's the thing that I keep hearing. It's like, Spurs will be better in Game 2. They didn't shoot the ball particularly well in Game 1. That'll change. It's going to change for New York as well. They shot the ball poorly too. Defensively, I like New York's matchups. If Cat can stay out of foul trouble, then I honestly wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks went up 2-0 tonight. Because basketball is about matchups, and I think the Knicks are just a tough matchup for San Antonio With that being said, I still like the Knicks in 6. I think the Spurs win game 2 tonight. Chris, who do you like tonight?
I think I like the Spurs tonight too. I think they try to get back on track. I don't know if I doubt the Knicks will sweep. I think they'll still win the series, but I think Spurs get back on track tonight.
Yeah, a Knicks sweep would be crazy. I'd be beaming for a week.
You know who would be responsible for that, right? We talk about it all the time. Talk
Go
about
ahead.
the Danhausen
Go ahead and
curse.
play it.
You are cursed.
We'll see what happens. We'll talk about it on Monday when we come back.
Dude, absolutely.
So they have a game Sunday too, right? Is that game 3?
No, game
Oh, it's
3 is
Monday.
on Monday.
So I read a report last night. Could have been fake. I see that Donald Trump might be at Monday's game
Yeah.
in New York. What's that?
Yeah.
about?
Apparently, Jalen Brunson called him and was like, hey, man, do you want to come to game 3? That's not true. That's a joke. But, yeah, the report that I saw was that someone was like, apparently someone with the Knicks invited him, apparently. I don't know. That's not, I don't know. If he's there, cool. If not, that's fine too.
It's whatever.
Yeah, I don't care. I'm going to watch the game the same, whether he's there or not.
To me, it's like Taylor Swift at the Cavaliers game. It's just,
Yeah.
Okay. Good
Show
for him.
her, like cut to him once or twice, get everybody riled up, and then go to commercial
Right.
and watch the tweets flood in. How dare ESPN show Taylor Swift on TV? How dare they show Donald Trump on TV? It's like you got to show something before the break, you know? I will say there's 2 things about ESPN's coverage of the finals so far that I absolutely hate. And we're only 1 game into it. Have you seen the AI stuff?
You have
Do you
to
know
be
what I'm
more
talking about?
specific. Everything's
So
AI anymore.
They showed a photo of Tony Parker holding how many? I can't remember if he won 3 or 4. Holding all these Larry O'Brien trophies. And it's AI generated. It's an AI generated photo. Even though there's a real photo of Tony Parker in the same pose. For some reason, ABC was like, you know what? Instead of the real photo, let's use AI. How stupid is that?
I can only imagine what this turns into like 5 years from now. We may not even have real sports anymore. It may all just be AI.
Oh, that's a conspiracy theory. That's what that is. Sports will cease to exist in 5 years. It'll all be AI.
We got to cut costs somewhere. We're just going to
That's right.
simulate it.
That's right. That's funny. But yeah, like I hated that part of it, and I hate they do this for college football too. Nothing upsets me more when I watch college football than a touchdown is scored. They show 3 minutes of commercials. Kickoff happens. They show 3 more minutes of commercials. It's like, what's the point of that? It's like, what? And so during the finals, they'll show like 2.5 minutes of commercials. They'll come back. Mike Breen he'll call a highlight, or it'll be legs, or it'll be Richard Jefferson, and then they go back to commercial. I hate it. It upsets me so much. I don't know. That's probably just a me thing, but I can't stand it. Commercial followed by not even 30 seconds of action, followed by more commercials. It's like, just play all the commercials and let's come back and watch the game.
Yeah, frustrating for sure. You still need to watch Idiocracy, man, because I feel that's the way that the world is going. And on that show, it's like everything is sponsored by something, everything. Like,
Oh, yeah.
This deep breath is brought to you by Staples, something crazy like that.
To be fair, we're trying to get everything sponsored.
You know
on
what I
this
mean?
show.
Everything's money these days.
It is. And yeah, so I hate that. Something I do love, though, is Funless Friday. We've got Team USA hitting the pitch tomorrow, because that's what it's called, for their final World Cup tune-up. But the Vegas odds on them actually winning the World Cup are historically brutal. In fact, you are more likely to end up in the emergency room this year due to a bizarre bathroom accident than our U.S. men's national team is to lift that World Cup trophy. I'm going to tell you 10 things more likely to happen than a U.S. Soccer World Cup title, and also why the Indianapolis Colts should be very, very worried about that in 3 minutes.
It's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Breaking news. Per Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport's, the Indiana Bears is becoming more and more likely. Let me read this statement from the Chicago Bears chairman, George H. McCaskey, and president and CEO Kevin Warren. Yesterday, the Chicago Bears board of directors met and voted to advance our stadium development project in Hammond, Indiana, with the exact site to be selected. We believe a world-class stadium project in Hammond will transform the region, connecting northwestern Indiana to the south side of Chicago through the loop and across neighborhoods and suburbs stretching north of the city. It will bring Chicagoland together and bring new opportunities to its residents and businesses. Yeah, baby.
They're still going to be Chicago Bears, though.
Yeah. Look, it's Hammond's 30 minutes from downtown Chicago.
Right.
Like, it's, everyone's going to make a big deal out of it because it is kind of a big deal. But at the same time, I don't know, it's probably cheaper to build the stadium there, too, as opposed to in Arlington Heights. So.
True story.
All right. Tomorrow, welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show, by the way. Thanks for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in. YouTube, X, the Indy Sports Ticket app, 1430 a.m. No matter how you're listening, it's greatly, greatly appreciated. Tomorrow, Team USA has a friendly against Germany as their final tune-up before the World Cup starts. They beat Senegal on Sunday, 3-2. It's the only friendly they've won. Don't put too much stock into friendlies, though. Watching a soccer friendly is like judging a gourmet restaurant based on the free bread basket. They're basically preseason NFL games. Backups are playing. You're trying to narrow down the roster. And let's just be honest here. Depth is never going to be the strength of the men's national team. So for Funless Friday, I decided to put together a list of unlikely things that are still more likely to happen than Team USA winning the World Cup. According to the Action Network, Team USA has odds anywhere between plus 6,000 and plus 8,000 to win the World Cup. To put that in perspective, betting on Team USA right now is like buying a lottery ticket and already picking out the color of your yacht. It's a nice dream, but I wouldn't do it. It comes out to like a 1.3% chance for Team USA to win the World Cup. So here we go. Let's get into Funless Friday.
It's Funless Friday!
Groovy. I like it. I like a good trumpet, if you can't tell.
You like things that blow, do you, Jonathan?
Oh, absolutely. Okay. Number 10 of unlikely things that are still more likely to happen than the U.S. men's national team winning the World Cup. Number 10, getting struck by lightning. The National Weather Service estimates the odds of an average person in the U.S. being struck by lightning over an 80-year lifetime are about 1 in 15,000. Mathematically, you're about 200 to 250 times more likely to get a personal date with a lightning bolt than the U.S. men's national team is to conquer the soccer world this summer. Zeus has a better chance of tracking you down than the United States does of lifting that World Cup trophy. Number 9, hitting a hole-in-one. For a casual golfer walking onto a par 3, the odds of sinking a hole-in-one are roughly 1 in 12,500. About 1 in 3,000 for a pro. You have a significantly better chance of hitting a miracle shot at your local country club that you'll tell your grandkids about than Christian Pulisic does leading the U.S. past France, Brazil, and Spain in consecutive knockout rounds. Okay, beating those teams back-to-back is like trying to sink a putt from the parking lot. Oh, but by the way, you have to hit it through the clubhouse window first. Good luck. Number 8. You are more likely to get accepted into Harvard than the U.S. men's national team is to win the World Cup. Harvard University's undergraduate acceptance rate hovers around 3.4 to 4%. at an implied probability of under 1.6%, winning the World Cup is literally twice as difficult for the U.S. men's national team as getting into the most prestigious Ivy League school on earth. Turns out it's easier to write a compelling essay on your life goals than it is to score a goal against this Brazilian defense. Number 7, bowling a perfect game, bowling a 300. For an average casual league bowler, the odds of rolling 12 consecutive strikes to hit that perfect 300 are about 1 in 11,500. If you are a highly skilled bowler, those odds jump to about 1 in 460. For the U.S. men's national team, trying to win the World Cup is like rolling a strike while using a watermelon on an iced-over bowling lane. Probably not going to happen. I don't know. Unless you find like a really big watermelon maybe, but that's probably hard to do. Number 6, finding a 4-leaf clover on your first try is more likely than the U.S. men's national team winning the World Cup this summer. If you walk into a patch of clovers and glance down, the odds of picking a genuine 4-leaf clover are 1 in 10,000. You're about 80 times more likely to find a symbol of good luck in your backyard than the U.S. team is to find its way past the world's soccer giants this summer. Number 5, being injured by a toilet this year is more likely than the U.S. men's national team to win the World Cup. Look on Chris's face made me laugh.
You get injured by a toilet?
According to the CDC and hospital surveillance data, about 40,000 Americans are injured by toilets each year, mostly from slips, falls, or collapsing seats. Stay away from Taco Bell, people. That breaks down to a probability of roughly 1 in 8,500 for the average U.S. citizen, meaning a bathroom mishap is far more statistically imminent than U.S. soccer winning the World Cup. Number 4, losing your checked luggage permanently. According to the Department of Transportation transit data, the odds of an airline completely losing your bag permanently, not just delaying it, are roughly 1 in 3,000. You are 25 times more likely to have your suitcase vanish into the ether than you are to see the U.S. win the final. Your missing underwear has a better chance of finding its way to a beach in Tahiti than Team USA does of finding the back of the net in the final. Number 3, being born with an extra finger or toe. The medical condition known as polydactyl, being born with 11 fingers or toes. By the way, I had a friend in college. His feet were webbed. That was weird. Having an extra finger or toe occurs about 1 in every 500 to 1,000 live births worldwide. Don't know why I said live births. I feel like all births are live, but hey, that's fine. Having an extra digit is at least 12 times more common than a U.S. World Cup victory. Number 2, getting a perfect score on the SAT. Out of roughly 1.7 million students who take the SAT every year, only about 300 to 500 achieve a perfect 1,600. That is an exact probability of roughly 1 in 3,400 to 1 in 5,600. Achieving academic perfection is still significantly easier than what Christian Pulisic and the rest of the team of the men's national team is up against. Okay, guessing every answer right on a calculus test is a breeze compared to guessing how we're going to stop Kylian Mbappe. And then number 1, getting 3 of a kind and 5-card poker is more likely to happen than the U.S. men's national team is to win the World Cup. If you're dealt 5 cards straight from a freshly shuffled deck, your odds of landing three of a kind are about 1 in 47. That's about 2.1% for my math people out there. You have a noticeably better chance of pulling that poker hand on a random deal than Team USA does of winning the tournament. So, pretty low odds for Team USA soccer to win the World Cup. We all know that. Here's the alarming thing. The Colts are only 33% more likely to win the Super Bowl than Team USA is to win the World Cup. That doesn't make me feel good at all. Yeah, doesn't make me feel good at all. Here's another stat for you. As far behind as Team USA is compared to the rest of the world in soccer, they are more likely to make it to the round of 16 this year in the World Cup. So be one of the 16 best soccer clubs in the world than the Colts are to make the playoffs and be a top 14 team in the NFL. Team USA, according to the betting odds, is more likely to reach the round of 16 than the Colts are to make the playoffs. Anytime USA men's soccer is more likely to do better than you at anything, you should be concerned about the current state of your team. And yeah, just incredible, incredible stuff, man. I read through all that and I was like, man, good luck, Colts. It's going to be a long year. Which one of those stats was your favorite, Chris? If you have one. You may not have one. It's the toilet one for me. The toilet one's so funny.
Yeah, because I don't know. The only thing I could vision in my head is like being a toilet in GTA and like, putting yourself as a toilet and attacking people because, you can, those who don't play video games, you can make yourself anything in a game, and making yourself a toilet to attack somebody is what I envisioned when you were talking about that. I was like, who gets injured by a toilet that you're talking about?
I just imagine someone being like 5 beefy 5-layer burritos deep. And they're like, oh, man, my stomach hurts. What a surprise. And then they're just in there blowing it up. And the toilet's just like, I'm done. And the toilet just collapses. Because then, you got porcelain shards stabbing you in the butt. Sounds terrible.
Yeah, absolutely.
Couldn't stand that. So, yeah, that's probably my favorite one. Oh, man. So, yeah, rough year upcoming for the Colts. Hopefully, Team USA can just win like a game or two in the knockout rounds. I think that's kind of what everybody wants. We're going to get a nice little idea of how good they are on tomorrow at 2:30 when they take on Germany in their final World Cup tune-up before the World Cup begins. The Indiana Fever played last night, and as I was watching the game, there was a moment where I was like, this is nice. Something wasn't being overly publicized that has been overly publicized about the Fever for the last 2 years, and it wasn't a talking point. And it was just, it was great. I'll tell you what that is in 3 minutes.
may, one day, be a must-listen for sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
The Indiana Fever won a game last night. Played a complete game. We'll have Tony East on at 2:20. We'll talk a little bit about it. Caitlin Clark finally having a game where she was in more commercials shown than turnovers that she had. She only turned the ball over three times last night. She was in way more than 4 commercials. So congratulations to her. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thanks for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe. You can also watch the show on X, __ Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 AM. By the way, it looks like the Bears are going to be moving to Hammond, Indiana. Can't wait. Think it's going to be awesome to watch the Indiana Bears get after it. So the Fever held the Atlanta Dream to 29 points in the first half last night. That is by far the best defensive half the Indiana Fever have played all year. That has to continue. This team can really score between Boston and Clark and Mitchell. You know, Lexi Hull and Sophie Cunningham provide defense and spacing. Raven Johnson off the bench is a nice little jitterbug. She was plus 15 last night. Led the Fever in that department. So I like it. This is a team that's defense has been really bad. You know, it's been like trying to stop a flood with a chain link fence. Okay, here's what I liked about last night's game. There was nothing about Angel Reese versus Caitlin Clark. I'll bet there are people who don't even know that Angel Reese plays for the Atlanta Dream. That's how little that matchup drove the discussion about the game. Look, of course, like you've got your normal social media rage baiters out there trying to stir it up. But again, I don't think people even realize that Angel Reese doesn't play in Chicago anymore. By the way, you don't really notice her when she's on the court either. Not really a threat to score. She rebounds, but there are a lot of players who do that. Counting on her for offense is like trying to heat your house with a flashlight. The effort's there, but you're not going to get very much heat if you're relying on a flashlight to heat your home up. And I think that the lack of Reese versus Clark coverage is a real step in the right direction. Everything that happens with Caitlin Clark in the WNBA gets the biggest overreaction. I was on Twitter this morning, and there's a play where Caitlin Clark gets called for a foul because she swipes down, and the person that she's guarding flops and, like, grabs her face. Caitlin Clark complains about the call. The referee looks at her, and people are like, see? The officials hate Caitlin Clark. Look at the way that she looked at her. It's like toddlers. Mom, Dad, Jonathan's looking at me. I don't like that he's looking at me. This may or may not have happened multiple times in my household growing up. Chris, that ever happened to you? You've got kids.
Yes.
Yeah. Tell my sister to stop looking at me that way. Right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's basically what it was. Incredible stuff. Okay. Every minor bump in the road for Caitlin Clark in the WNBA is treated like a 10-car pileup. Everything that happens is just the biggest deal in the history of the league. Maybe that's because this is the first time ever that people are actively paying attention to what's happening in the WNBA, but it's still annoying, and I think it drives people away. For example, Caitlin Clark and Stephanie White got into it a couple weeks ago. It's the biggest story ever. You know, I didn't talk about it on the show because it wasn't a big deal. A player and a coach argued in the huddle. Who cares? Players and coaches get into disagreements all the time. Remember when David Blatt was coaching the Cavaliers and LeBron James would wipe plays off of the whiteboard that Coach Blatt drew up? That seems like a much bigger deal than a coach and a player getting into a little spat. You remember the famous Allen Iverson practice rant? Do you know why that happened? It happened because Larry Brown talked about how he wanted more commitments from Allen Iverson. That's something. Way more than a coach and a player getting into a little bit of a spat. Jimmy Butler didn't like Fred Hoiberg to a point where he looked at Coach Hoiberg and said, Coach, you're soft. He flat out, go play it. That's what Jimmy Butler did to Coach Hoiberg's face. And then he flat out told Coach Hoiberg, I don't like you. So naturally, Coach Hoiberg looked at Jimmy Butler and said, F you, Jimmy. That seems like a much bigger deal than Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark getting into a little spat in the huddle. Okay, like that incident didn't come close to any of those. But it became a big deal because it's the WNBA. Also, last night, Caitlin Clark hugged Stephanie White after they went on a little run and the Dream called a timeout. Oh, look at that. They just love each other so much. Everything's too big of a deal. They need things to calm down. The league will be significantly more tolerable that way. And the Clark versus Reese rivalry, not being as big of a deal as it once was, is a step in the correct direction for that. Speaking of overreactions, you've got that going on in the NBA right now as well. Ever since the Thunder got eliminated from the NBA playoffs, I have been thinking a lot about how everyone overreacts when their team loses. You know? Timberwolves fans are overreacting because they lost the trade where they took in Julius Randle and gave up Karl Anthony Towns. Thunder fans are overreacting because they lost in the playoffs. Anytime anything bad ever happens to a franchise, everyone reacts as if they got swept in the first round by an 8 seed. The Thunder got to Game 7 of the Western Conference Finals without their second best player and their third best offensive creator, and yet the internet is screaming that they need to panic trade for Giannis and that Chet Holmgren's no good. That's insane. Do they need to make some tweaks? Sure. But you don't perform open heart surgery when the patient just needs a couple of Advil. It's a bit excessive. It's how you ruin your team. Teams overcorrect, then they end up worse the following year. It's like owning a classic muscle car that's running a little rough, and instead of changing the spark plugs, you swap out the entire engine for a completely different model. Suddenly, nothing fits right under the hood, and you're stuck in the garage, and you can't go anywhere. And now you got to go buy a new car. And the Pacers aren't immune from this. Like, I was thinking about this from the Pacer perspective because there's been some panic since they lost their first round pick this year. Oh, man, they don't have the fifth overall pick. They're not going to be able to draft a point guard that's going to sit behind Andrew Nembhard and Tyrese Halliburton. Whatever shall we do? A lot of panic. I like their roster a lot. When I look at the East right now, they're more than capable of winning the East. Now, Giannis is going to get traded, and that'll impact how we view the East if he ends up in Boston, if he ends up in Miami. But as of right now, you have to like the Pacers as much as anyone in the Eastern Conference. When they missed out on the top 4 pick, I saw so much overreaction. I saw another trade proposal for Trey Murphy III. People want this trade to happen so badly, and I just find it incredible. I just incredible. It will not help the Pacers for them to ship out Ben Shepherd, Jarris Walker, and a haul of picks. I like Trey Murphy a lot. He's a heck of a player. But trading him right now is like selling off 3 rooms of your house to buy a really nice couch.
Sorry, wrong button.
Okay, I was like, what? You didn't like that one?
Fat fingers, sorry.
That's funny. All right. Yeah, the couch looks great, but now you've got nowhere to live. Last year, the thing that made the Pacers special was their depth. When you make a big trade, like they'd have to do for Trey Murphy, then you gut yourself of your depth. The Pacers would gut the very thing that allowed them to make the finals last year. Do you know why the Pacers can play at that insane pace? Because they have 9 guys on their roster that are good enough to play playoff minutes. Come on now. That's just common sense. The roster last year, with Miles Turner at center, was good enough to win the East. They upgraded the center spot, the weak spot on the roster. They went out and they got Zubac. Dude's a beast. Players like Jarris Walker got better over the course of this last season. He'll be better next year. Andrew Nembhard got better over the course of the year, more minutes being the primary ball handler. No bell there? Okay, that's fine. Primary ball handler. I mean, come on now.
I have a lot happening right now.
You do. It's fair. It's fair.
I need you to calm down.
You got to get
over
ready
there.
for dueling trivia in 10 minutes. But they don't need, the Pacers don't need some drastic move to be a contender. They don't need some crazy overhaul. They just need to let the soup simmer. You don't keep dumping new ingredients into the pot when the recipe's already working. We'll see where Giannis gets traded. Then we'll see if the Pacers need to make a big move. But right now, they're fine in the East. They're just as good, if not better, than everybody else, except for maybe New York. New York's really good. Obviously, they're up 1-0 in the finals. They could very easily win it all this year. But the East is deeper, or will be deeper next year than it was last year. And I guess that's a cause for concern. But this is a good roster already. Stop trying to fix a machine that's not broken. Now, let's say, Jaylen Brown gets traded to the Heat and Giannis ends up in Boston. There's some crazy 3-way trade there that happens. Okay, then yeah, maybe then the Pacers need to go get Trey Murphy. But as far as I'm concerned, the only trade I would even entertain right now if I was the Pacers would be a move to go get Giannis. And I don't think that they're going to do that. They don't need him. They don't need him at all, really, to be quite frank. And so I'm just at a point right now where everyone just needs to calm down. Okay, this is the problem with being bored. When does every 11-year-old boy get in trouble? When he gets bored and he's got nothing else to do. So he's like, oh, let's go light that forest on fire. All of a sudden, the cops get called and everyone gets in trouble and it's not great. Right now, I think everyone's just bored. And because we're bored, it's like, Trey Murphy, get him here. No, it's okay to be bored sometimes, right? It's more than okay to be bored sometimes, right? The Trey Murphy thing is the equivalent of putting an iPad in a 3-year-old's face when he's bored. It's like, this will keep him occupied for the next 45 minutes. We're good. We can just sit. We can just enjoy the finals. We can wait. We can be patient. We can watch what happens around the league. And then maybe you make a move. But right now, this Pacers roster is more than okay. It is at worst, I would argue, it's at worst the third best roster in the East behind Boston and New York. But I would argue it's number 2. I like their roster more than New York's. But, we'll see what happens, right? Because there are still pieces that are going to be moved around. Jaylen Brown could get traded. So could Giannis, and that'll obviously send everything into a mad shuffle. So we'll see how it goes, but don't overreact. All it does is ruin whatever thing you're currently working on. So we'll see how it goes. Speaking of overreacting, we're going to do this thing, and I'm so excited for it. We're doing dueling trivia at 1 o'clock, me versus Chris. Trivia has really kind of taken a nice little hold on the show here. We're doing more trivia at 2 o'clock if you want to call in then for your chance to win a couple of tickets to Holiday World. And I think we're going to do theme park trivia for that. I think that fits pretty well. So,
Good choice.
And for those of you who are like, I don't know anything about theme park trivia, that's okay. My father-in-law called in yesterday. He did NHL trivia, and he only got one of the 5 questions correct. And we still gave him the tickets. You may say, Jonathan, is that because he's your father-in-law? Absolutely not. That's just how we do it here. Right? So 2 o'clock, we'll do theme park trivia. But at 1 o'clock, we will do dueling trivia. I'll tell you my topic now because I'm so excited about this.
I already know I'm in trouble.
We are doing Olympic oddities and defunct sports trivia.
Oh, Lord.
What's yours?
Not that. So mine is anything that I do trivia wise is always probably music related.
Yep.
So I chose 10 songs from Madden soundtracks.
Oh, that's sick.
So
That's a great topic.
it's probably something that you've heard before, but I guarantee you won't get every band,
I'm telling you. Oh, I have to name the band?
the band or the song title.
Okay.
I'm
I'm
not
telling you
looking
right now.
I'm not
if you
looking.
got 6'7", which I think is in
It's
like,
not on there.
which is in like,
These are
that's probably like Madden 12
yeah. I'm not
by
I'm
Lil
not-
Wayne. I'll get that one. That's about
I'm
it.
not expecting you to name which Madden it's on.
Okay,
But
good.
if you've played Madden over the years, which I know you have, there's a good chance that you know a few of these.
More of a college football guy. That's fine. We will do dueling trivia at 1:00. But first, Chris has got your sports update.
Thanks, Jonathan. Here's a few stories trending right now in this hour. The Colts are wrapping up OTAs today. Mandatory minicamp begins on Tuesday. Training camp will begin after summer break in late July at Grant Park in Westfield. Also, the Chicago Bears Board of Directors voted yesterday to advance stadium development in Hammond, Indiana. We'll have more details on that as they come in. The Fever opened their Commissioner's Cup schedule with a win last night, defeating the Atlanta Dream 83-71 and improving their record to 5-4 on the season so far. Caitlin Clark finished with 17 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. They'll try to get another one in the win column tomorrow night when they face the New York Liberty. Purdue's Braden Smith was supposed to headline today's pre-draft workout for the Pacers, but withdrew from the session. IU's Sam Alexis, however, was evaluated. So there you go. Spurs look to even the series in the NBA Finals against the Knicks tonight. Game 2, 8:30 on ABC. And the Stanley Cup Finals are tied at 1 game apiece after the Carolina Hurricanes topped the Vegas Golden Knights last night in overtime, 4-3. That's what's trending this hour. More of the Real Jonathan Smith Show after the break on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430.
do this. It's the Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Game 2 of the NBA Finals is happening tonight. We'll have Tony East on at 2:20. We'll talk about that and the Indiana Fever and their win last night as well. Trivia has become a real staple here on the Real Jonathan Smith Show. Thank you for tuning in. No matter how you're tuning in, YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, maybe you're watching the show on X, _ Jonathan Smith. Follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 AM if you're in your car every day, noon to 3. So, with trivia becoming so important, and there not being a ton of like local sports news today, Chris and I were brainstorming on Wednesday. We've come up with a new segment for you called Dueling Trivia. The entire idea is for Chris and I to create trivia so hard the other one can't answer any of the questions correctly. We will keep a running tally on who wins more, and we'll do some sort of prize or something once we hit a certain number.
So who wins? Like the one that gets the most wrong?
Yeah, no. The goal is to get as many right as possible.
Okay.
And so, because I feel like the goal is to create trivia hard enough that the other person can't get any right.
Fair enough.
The only rule, you can do any topic. The only rule is you have to offer multiple choice. That way we at least have some sort of opportunity to get the question correct.
All right.
So without further ado, let's get into some dueling trivia.
From the arena of intellect, it's time for Dueling Trivia! Producer versus host. Brace yourself for the ultimate clash. Let the battle begin!
That's special.
That's so good. I love that so much.
Special.
All right, so
You go first.
my topic. Oh, man, my topic. My topic is Olympic oddities and defunct sports trivia. Chris, yours is Madden songs
Because-
from over the years.
Yeah, they announced the Madden cover this week. I figured it would fit well.
It's very fitting. All right. We will go back and forth. My first question. At the 1900 Paris Games, the Olympics featured its only ever event involving live animals where the goal was to kill them. What was the sport? A, live pigeon shooting. B, wild boar hunting. C, equestrian fox hunting. Or D, bullfighting.
They had to kill the animal?
They had to kill the animal.
I'm going to say the pigeon shooting.
That is correct.
Oh, it is?
That is correct.
Let's go. Crazy French people. right. Very good. All right. So mine always usually music related. I'll give you the beginning. I didn't clip up these songs or anything like that. These are songs that have been on Madden. So let's see if you get the first one here. Looking for the band or the song title. It sounds like this. Your options are either A, Foo Fighters, B, Nirvana, or C, The Crooked Horses.
Oh, I know. I don't know who writes it. I'm going to go
Foo Fighters is correct. That's correct.
That's a great.
Yeah,
I don't know the name of it.
no way.
Great. All right. Second question here. From 1912 to 1948, the Olympics awarded official medals in a non-physical category known as the Pentathlon of Muses. What did competitors win medals for? A, chess and checkers. B, fine arts. C, culinary arts and baking. Or D, competitive debate and oratory.
Oh, give me C.
Culinary arts and baking. That is incorrect.
Dang
It is fine arts.
All right.
That's a tough one.
I tried it. All right. Here's a second song of Madden. Looking for the artist or the song name. Your choices are The New Day, Weezer, or Green Day.
What was the first option?
The New Day.
Is it
Green Day is correct. Oh, good job. American Idiot.
Number 3. Tug of war was an official Olympic sport from 1900 to 1920. What unique rule allowed the United States to sweep the gold, silver, and bronze medals in 1904? A. Only American teams showed up to compete. B. Countries were allowed to enter multiple club teams instead of just one national team. C. The U.S. team used a controversial sticky resin on their hands that was later banned. Or D. The other countries were disqualified for wearing spiked boots.
Oh, I'm going to say B.
That is correct. Multiple
Hey.
teams were allowed to enter. All right.
We're good at guessing
2
today.
to 2. Let's go.
All right, here we go. Song number 3, band or title of the song. Here we go.
Never heard this before.
Your options are Blink 182, Boxcar Racer, or Angels and Airwaves.
Blink 182, I guess?
Blink 182 is correct.
Man, you're right. More than-
It's the same thing.
Is it really?
Tom
That's-
DeLonge sang in Blink 182, Boxcar Racer.
There you go. All right. 4th question. The 1904 St. Louis Olympic Marathon is famous for being the most disastrous race in history. How did the original winner, Fred Lours, travel for 11 miles of the race? A. On a bicycle he stole from a spectator. B. In his manager's automobile after breaking down. C. Riding a stray horse that wandered onto the course. Or D. By taking the local St. Louis subway system.
Oh man, that's a tough one. I think man, they're all valid answers, I think, but I would probably have to say D, the subway.
That is incorrect.
Ah,
He took his manager's automobile for 11 miles, and then it broke down before the finish line. And he got out and then just trotted across as he won the marathon.
fair enough. That was going to be my last answer, but I tried. All right, ready for another song
I
from
am.
Madden? All right. Kind of just told you, but
Did they?
is it A, Dr. Dre, B, Young Dre the Truth, or C, Hard Truth? Featuring
I guess it's
Young Dre the Truth.
I was just in, I'm weird. Whenever I listen to music, I don't really listen to words. Which band? Yeah, all right, look at this one. Number 5. In 1992, the Winter Olympics in Albert featured speed skiing as a demonstration sport. Why was it promptly dropped and never brought back? A. It was too boring because skiers went too slow. B. Global warming caused a lack of steep enough snow tracks. C. A Swiss skier tragically died during a practice run, proving it too dangerous. Or D. The skiers' aerodynamic outfits were deemed indecent by the IOC.
You kind of chuckled at the end of your answer for B, so I'm going to say B.
No, it's not B. I'm sorry. I was laughing because the idea of global warming keeping a Winter Olympic sport from happening is kind of funny.
Fair enough.
Sorry. The answer is C. A Swiss skier tragically died during a practice run.
Good job. Good
Sorry,
job.
my
Okay.
bad.
Well, no, that's okay. I don't know anything about Olympics. That's why it's trivia, dueling trivia. Anyway,
Even though I do think that people that know a lot about Olympics would struggle with this.
and nobody that's played video games probably knows anything about these songs, so it's all right. The next song from a Madden soundtrack. Here we go. I have three options. This was a song from Madden. Is the band either A, Stain, B, Seether, or C, Chevelle?
This voice sounds so cool. Can I get the fans to
A, Stain, B, Seether, or C, Chevelle?
never heard of any of this band?
A, Stain is incorrect. It's Seether. They are touring.
That's why I got state on rock band. Cool. In 1900, a bit called Underwater was held. How was it seen? A. By how gracefully the slipper moved underwater. B. By looking stay completely still underwater for August. C. You got 1 point for each second underwater and 2 points for each meter swam. Or D. By how many plastic rings a swimmer could collect from the pool.
I'm going to try C.
That is correct.
Hey, let's go.
Tying it up 3-3.
How many questions?
We're doing 10.
All right, what's the next one? We're doing Madden songs. Songs for Madden soundtracks, looking for the artist name or the song title. Could this band be Okay Stop, Okay Go, or Okay Slow Down?
What's the band name?
Yeah.
Okay, stop. Okay, go. Or okay, slow down. I
That is
doubt it's
options.
okay, slow down. That feels like you just threw it in there to be funny. I'm gonna go with okay.
Okay Stop is incorrect. It's Okay Go from overseas, I
That was
believe.
my second guess. All right, number 7. Which of the following unusual disciplines was actually an official Olympic medal awarding gymnastics event at the 1896, 1904, 1924, and 1932 Summer Olympics? A. Trampoline backflipping. B. Rope climbing. C. Human pyramid building. Or D. Juggling.
Can I have the first two again?
A. Trampoline backflipping. B. Rope climbing.
I'm going to say B.
That is correct. It is B. Rope climbing.
Total guess.
Yeah, that's a big deal in gymnastics. Like when you're like a beginner, you climb the rope. When you're an intermediate, you climb the rope like with only your arms, and then they keep making it harder.
Although all of those sounded like valid, potential, crazy Olympic sports or whatever. But okay, ready for your next song?
I am.
Here we go. Just played this one not long ago when I went to Sonic Temple. Your band options are A, Charlotte, North Carolina, B, Good Charlotte, or C, Bad Charlotte. It's Good Charlotte. It is Good Charlotte.
Oh.
That is correct. Try to make that one.
Sorry. People on YouTube saying that the audio reaching out to support you with this different. So, question number 8. The 1900 Olympics featured croquet, which holds a sad record in Olympic history. Is it A? It is the only sport where a spectator was hit and injured by a ball. B. It had the lowest attendance in history, with exactly 1 ticket sold to a tourist from England. C. The entire tournament took 3 weeks to finish because of constant rule arguments. Or D. Every single competitor was cast earlier in
Please have C.
the entire tournament took 3 weeks to finish because of constant rule arguments. That is incorrect. It had the lowest attendance in history. Only 1 spectator showed up.
I was just so sick of that. Oh, Detroit. Very good. Next song that you'd probably hear on Madden, the name of the band or the song title.
Song, I can tell you that.
Your options are A, yellow card, B, green card, or C, card.
I go with green card.
Green card is incorrect.
Yellow card is yellow card. I feel like if you're gonna name your band reverse card, you should just call your band Uno.
Right. Or your first album.
All right, final question. We're tied 4-4. In 1908, the event of motorboat was introduced. Why was it canceled after just one appearance? A. The boats kept crashing into the rowers sharing the river. B. Bad weather caused agonizingly slow races, and the event was terrible for spectators. C. The petrol fumes made the judges sick. Or D. Only one boat managed to finish without its engine exploding.
With D.
Only one boat managed to finish without its engine exploding. That is incorrect. Bad weather caused agonizingly slow races, and the event was terrible for spectators. I feel like they could bring that back, though.
Yeah, for sure. That could have went a bunch of different ways. Is this the last one on?
This is the last one.
Okay,
Yep.
last
one.
song. All right. Any of these songs ringing a bell from Madden?
Yes, I don't know the names of any of them. I know this one.
Your options are A, Phoenix TX, B, Audio Slave, or C, All American Rejects.
I gotta hear this. I listened to the I don't think what was the name?
Uh, right, the first one, A, was Phoenix TX, B was Audio Slave, C was All American Rejects.
I'm gonna go with Audio.
Audio Slave is incorrect. All American Rejects and All American Rejects.
We tied.
Okay.
No tiebreaker.
No tiebreaker.
Yeah, fair enough. You got that one. Yeah. All right. So all right. That was dueling trivia. We came to a draw today. We'll sprinkle this in from time to time whenever we're a little low on topics today. Let's be honest. There's not a ton going. But with that being said, nothing sucks more than being assigned a project with your annoying coworker who clearly thinks he's better. That's what playing football was like with Russell Wilson. And it's why his career wasn't any longer. I'll tell you the valuable lesson every athlete and person can learn from Russell Wilson's career in 3 minutes.
The best takes. Maybe. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Russell Wilson announced his retirement from the NFL yesterday. And it's really weird because he was like, I'm not retiring. I'm just going to go work for CBS. And then 2 days later, he was like, no, I'm going to retire. And that's not surprising at all if you know anything about Russell Wilson. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Ticket. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in. YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, you can also watch the show on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app or 1430 a.m. if you're driving around the Indianapolis area. So, Russell Wilson retired from the NFL a couple of days ago, and I think he taught everyone a very important lesson. It's important to be likable, especially if you're in a leadership position. It sucks to work for a boss that you don't like, especially, it does. It sucks to be on a school project with a classmate that you find annoying. Working with a leader who isn't likable is like driving a luxury sports car with a broken air conditioner. Sure, the engine's impressive, but the vibe inside is absolutely miserable. Russell Wilson was that annoying classmate during his time in the NFL. His teammates in Seattle didn't like him. Shannon Sharpe tried to ask Marshawn Lynch about him on his podcast, and Marshawn Lynch was like, nah, I'm good. Long story short, Russell Wilson was a little too cool to go out when he was in Seattle. Richard Sherman invited him on a podcast, and Russell Wilson told him to call his agent. Could you imagine inviting a coworker to happy hour, and they tell you to clear it with their secretary? Chris, how annoyed would you be if you were like, Jonathan, do you want to come to karaoke tonight? And I was like, call my agent first, man. How would you feel?
I would just know not to ask you again, probably.
Exactly. That's exactly what it does. It's corporate, it's cold, and it kills chemistry. This is my favorite story, though. When he went to the Broncos, Nathaniel Hackett was the coach at the time. Sean Payton comes in year 2. He didn't like him. It was probably because Russell Wilson didn't have his own locker. That's weird. Why doesn't the starting quarterback have his own locker? It's because he had his own office in the same area as all of the coaches. Whose idea was that? The answer is Russell Wilson's. Who thought that was a good idea? Hey, let's take our team leader, a guy that everyone needs to like, and let's have him never hang out with the team in the locker room where guys play ping pong and guys laugh and they, bust each other's balls. Let's not have him do any of that. That'll make the guys in the locker room feel like Russell Wilson is their fearless leader. Remember when he ran a full-speed 2-minute drill on the field before Monday Night Football without a football? I mean, he was hurt. He wasn't going to be able to play that night. He looked like a kid in the backyard playing air guitar, except he was a grown man demanding a stadium full of people to watch him do it. He just couldn't resist the urge to do something to put the spotlight on himself. No one likes that kind of guy. If you're going to be the star of your team, you've got to be likable. It's so important. Sam Presti, the general manager of the Oklahoma City Thunder, reportedly spends more time learning about players and their personalities than he does their actual game on the floor. Because chemistry and personality fit is every bit as important as can you fit on the floor, especially in basketball. Because if I don't like you, I'm just not going to pass you the ball because I'm petty. Happens all the time. Now, I don't know if that's true or not with Sam Presti, but either way, it would make sense. All those Thunder players seem to like each other. And I think it starts at the top. SGA is reportedly a nice guy. If you're going to be the face of a franchise, you have to be a person that people want to pull for. Talent gets you in the door, but likability is the glue that keeps the roof from caving in. Part of why the Pacers gel together so well is because Tyrese Halliburton appears to be a really good leader. It looks like his teammates like him. Daniel Jones came into the locker room last year for the Colts, and the players liked him immediately. That's half the battle. You have to get guys to buy into who you are as a human being, and you've got to get them to, buy into who you are. That's the reality of it. And so, you have to have that in your locker room. Like trying to build a championship team without a likable leader is like trying to bake a cake with salt instead of sugar. You can use the exact same measurements, but the end product is going to taste terribly. It's part of why Kevin Durant has never won anything away from Steph Curry. He's not likable like Steph Curry is. You know that if you cross Kevin Durant, it'll wind up on Twitter via a burner account. The stars in Indianapolis are the kind of people you want leading your franchise personality-wise. Because, again, for the Pacers, it's led to wins. Say whatever you want about Caitlin Clark. She's tough. She's intense. But the Fever didn't exactly win very many games before she showed up. We're still waiting on Daniel Jones to pull his weight in the win column. We'll see if that happens this year or not. But he has checked the box of a likable guy that people want to root for. You have to have that if you're going to find a way to win games in any profession. If you're going to be successful in business, you have to have people that other people like. I think that's a really important thing. Chris, have you ever worked for a bad boss?
Yeah.
Besides Mike?
Mike's an excellent boss.
I know he is. I'm just messing with him.
Good people. I'm just gonna leave it at yes. No details, really.
Man.
Really? I mean,
I'm
not gonna
give
call
some
anybody out.
details.
Yeah, you go ahead.
When I was a senior in high school, I graduated, and I had the worst summer of my life. I got a job working maintenance for like my city. So I'd get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and I would have to go to work, which isn't bad now. But when you're 18 years old and like you want to hang out with your friends at night, and you got to be like, I can't. I have to go to bed at 8:30. Sucks.
Yeah.
And I get up, I go to work, and they'd have us do all this crap. And the guy that was like in charge of my section was just ruthless, man. Absolutely ruthless. Something either always took us too long or it didn't look nice enough. But it's like, hey, man, if you want me to do this in 5 minutes, it's not going to look very nice. And if you want me to make it look nice, it's not going to take me 5 minutes, And like, no matter what we did, man, he would just, he was the worst. I can still see his face. It was very punchable.
I love punchable faces.
Yeah. Except you don't always get to hit him. So,
Right.
yeah, just brutal. Me and my brother worked it together, which made it really funny because we would I'm glad he was there. Because we just made fun of him. Like, we were just cracking jokes, making fun of him the whole time. And, it kind of became a competition of like who could get away with doing the least amount of work without getting yelled at, And so you always wanted to mow. Because if you could mow, then you could just sit on the lawnmower and like you just had this big field. And look, there's something nice about being on a riding lawnmower for 3 hours.
Yeah.
It's a good time. And yeah, that's probably the worst job I've ever had. Actually, when I was in college, I worked at Taco Bell for 3 weeks. I worked the night shift. So like I'd get to work at like 10 p.m. I would close. We closed at 4 a.m.
Wow.
And then I would go to class the next day at like 8.
Brutal.
It was awful. That's why I only lasted 3 weeks.
Doesn't sound worth it.
Here's what happened. I made enough money to buy a plane ticket to go see my girlfriend who lived in Tennessee at the time. And then I quit. Didn't go back. I was like, I got what I came for. See y'all later.
It's crazy to think that you were like, yeah, Taco Bell, that sounds like a great place to work. And then you actually went through with it for one.
Well, I needed the money, man.
Fair
So
enough.
that happened. And then I also got offered a paid position on my university's radio station.
Okay.
Wasn't nearly as much money, but I was like, it's enough. I don't have to be at work till 4:00 in the morning.
Right. There was one place that I worked that was like a sales place. I'm not going to reference what exactly they sold, but I had a house fire, right? And the house was not salvageable. They had to tear it down. And the days that I missed from working that job because I had the house fire, the boss said were unexcused. They're like,
Yeah, that's insane.
yeah, I didn't stay there much longer.
Yeah,
But
I don't blame you.
that was probably the worst boss I ever had.
Yeah, that's brutal. Jeez. Oh man, that sucks. That didn't happen in Denver, I'm assuming.
No, that was here.
Okay.
It was about I don't know, 10 years ago.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. Well, yeah, bad bosses suck.
Amen.
So do quarterbacks with crappy personalities like Russell Wilson. So tonight we got game 2 of the NBA Finals. Tony East joins me at 2:20. We'll talk Fever and the finals, but the Spurs should be picked to win game 2 of the NBA Finals tonight because you can't fake desperation. But the Knicks have something in their favor that could swing the game in their direction tonight. They could take a 2-0 lead on the road in San Antonio. I will tell you what that is in 3 minutes.
It's Danhausen. No, I'm just kidding.
If it's in today's sports world, it's here. The real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Coming up, 2 o'clock, we are giving away tickets to Holiday World. You got to answer some trivia questions first, though. Everything on this show is earned, not given. And,
They're going to be random Olympic questions.
They are random amusement park questions. I'll go ahead and throw you the first one right now, Chris, because I know you're an amusement park historian.
Let's do it.
Which amusement park is widely recognized as the oldest continuously operating park in the world? A, Bakken in Denmark. B, Lake Compounce in the USA. C, the Tivoli Gardens in Denmark. Or D, Prater in Austria.
I have no idea. I'm going to say B.
No, it is A, Bakken in Denmark.
Yeah.
Located just north of Copenhagen, Bakken opened its gates all the way back in 1583.
You have more information in your head than you really need, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, man. All right. Ross, sorry, man. You called in about 20 minutes too early to win more Holiday World tickets.
Oh, cut it out. Are you familiar, like, I know you're not from Indiana. Are you familiar with Indiana Beach?
Are you talking about, like, I'm assuming
Like
by
in
Indiana
Monticello?
and where?
Monticello.
Monticello, like kind of up by, I guess, Purdue. It's a, like, 100-year-old amusement park.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah,
open
yeah.
in-
Yeah.
There's
Okay.
more than corn in Indiana.
Yeah. You could probably get it on Groupon for like $20 if
Okay.
you want to go. But you never know what is going to be. Like, there's at least 2 or 3 rides closed.
Oh,
Like
no.
there was one day where the entire water park was closed for like half the day, and then they opened it. So it's like, yeah, that's
That's
kind of the big.
interesting.
Imagine going to Holiday World and like no water park. Like that'd be a wasted trip, you know.
Yeah. That makes sense. Now,
So yes, sir.
I've never been to Holiday World. The hope is for Amelia and I to go this summer. We're supposed to go last summer. We were going to go on a double date. And then the night before we were supposed to
Right.
go, the other couple broke up.
Right.
So we
Yeah, I
just didn't
remember
go.
that. It's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Same
was
stuff.
fun. I'm just glad that I think we're going to go like not this coming Monday, but the next. And when we went last year, we were a few days late for the drone fireworks show that they talk about. So at least we'll get to see that this time.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So
That's awesome.
What I wanted to ask is I passed I think it's a vet up here in Warsaw. I was driving past and I forgot, it stuck out to me because they have a bunch of flags. They have like the U.S. Indiana flag, and then they have like a Purdue and a Texas A&M flag. I'm guessing that the owners or the vets, you know, are associated with the colleges. But I want to know, like, often I see cars or things with a weird combination of, like, I think I remember seeing where I live, a Detroit Tigers sticker on one side, then a Miami Dolphins on the, you know, I want to know what's like the weirdest, if you can think of like a sports combination of fandom that you've seen.
Sports combination of fandom. Amelia and I are probably pretty weird because she's a Purdue fan and I'm an Arkansas fan. That's probably pretty unique. There's probably not a lot of those.
I guess, I mean, like somebody, you know, that's like, you know, I like the Utah Mammoth and hockey, and I like the
Yeah.
the
Okay.
Minnesota Timberwolves and basketball, and then the Marlins or something, you know.
I think, man, I probably qualify for that. At least growing up. I'm not like, I don't really root for teams anymore just because of the job. I like trying to be objective, but like growing up, I was a Miami Dolphins football fan. I was obviously an Arkansas Razorback fan in all college sports. I was a Dallas Mavericks basketball fan. I was a Liverpool Premier League soccer fan, a Seattle Kraken NHL fan, and a Cubs baseball fan. And I think you get weird fandom stuff in places where teams don't have professional sports.
Right.
Like if you live in Arkansas, like there's no, like the Cowboys are at best like 4 hours away.
Yeah, who wants to be a Grizzlies fan, you know?
Yeah, seriously, especially when the hotels there are as bad as they are apparently.
Yeah. No, I get that. I think Indy's pretty – you'll get like 4 or 5 different baseball teams from people from Indiana.
Yeah.
You know, so I get that. No, I was just kind of curious if anything stuck out at you. It's interesting seeing some driving around like, oh, there's a Buffalo Sabres fan in Fort Wayne. Cool. You know, it'd be interesting to know the backstory of that. But yeah, I know my dad liked the Dolphins, you know, obviously back in the 70s when they were good. And then before the, you know, it's easy to forget that the Colts weren't here for like a lot of our parents and people's, you know, so they had to pick somebody else.
Yeah.
For a long time. So
yeah, that's true. Very true.
All right, man.
All right.
Have a good weekend, guys.
You too, Ross. Thanks for the call, man.
Yep.
Thanks, Ross.
Good old Ross. Misfit.
When I lived I went to school in Minnesota, there were noticeably more Packers fans than Vikings fans in Minnesota.
You said there were more Packer fans
In Minnesota than Vikings
That's
fans.
interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That was weird, but that's the
That
only
is
thing I
weird.
can-
That's abnormal.
Not as weird as you and your United Nations of teams when you were little.
Yeah, man.
I like everybody.
Oh, I like everybody. That's the thing. And like all the teams that I picked, with the exception of the Mavericks, they all stunk. Like the Dolphins have never won a playoff game in my lifetime. The Mavericks they were always good growing up because they had Dirk. You know, we had a family tradition when it wasn't football season. We'd come home, turn on good old WGN network, and we'd watch the Cubs lose. It was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. It was just, you know, we were just kind of all over the place. And again, like when you live in Arkansas, like there's no professional sports team. So you just kind of pick whoever.
You want to know how I picked my favorite teams before it was, you know, the local teams?
You listen to a rock song and you're like, oh, they mentioned Wildcats. So I guess I'm an Arizona fan.
Not quite. But we were definitely in poverty when I was growing up. And I liked whatever jersey I could afford. Right. So
That makes sense. Yeah.
I was not a Washington Bullets fan, but I had a Juwan Howard jersey
Oh, that's sick.
because it was on sale.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was not a fan of the Buffalo Bills, but I had a Jim Kelly jersey.
Okay. Because
But
it was on
then-
sale.
I could start affording jerseys of teams I liked. Like at the time, you know, Aikman and Smith from the Cowboys and Giants and Pacers and Colts and so on.
Yeah, fair enough. So was that Juwan Howard? Was that your first jersey?
I think so. It was one of the first. I think Reggie Miller, I was probably my first jersey, but Juwan Howard, we talked about Mahmoud Abdul Rauf. Remember that guy from the Denver
yeah.
Nuggets? Had that guy. I probably had a George Merson jersey too. I think he was on the Bullets at one point. I don't know, something like that.
Okay.
There you go.
My first jersey was a Dante Culpepper Miami Dolphin jersey.
Nice.
Number 8.
Did you ever have a starter jacket?
No, never had a starter jacket. I know exactly what you're talking about, though.
Yeah, those were popular in my time. I couldn't afford one of those. I had a Logo 7 jacket.
Okay.
Orlando Magic. Logo 7.
Yeah, I mean, you can probably find starter jackets again if you really wanted one.
Yeah.
That'd actually be really sick. I'm looking for one now. Oh, there's an Indiana Bears one on here.
Really?
No.
You're kidding.
I wish. That'd be awesome. Oh, man. All right. Tonight, we got game 2 of the NBA Finals between the Knicks and the Spurs. The Knicks currently hold a 1-0 series lead over San Antonio after taking game 1. A game that was incredibly ugly. Neither team really shot the ball well. Knicks shot 41% from the floor. Spurs shot 36% from the floor. The Knicks shot 31% from 3, and the Spurs shot 26% from 3. It was an ugly game. Nice little rock fight to start off the NBA Finals. Both teams have been excellent defensively during these playoffs. I thought that was more of the story in game 1 than the offenses being bad. You know, I like the Knicks to kind of figure it out offensively more than I like San Antonio for 3 reasons, and this is part of why I like New York to win the series. 1, Jalen Brunson is the best offensive player in the series. We saw it at the end of game 1 when the Knicks needed buckets. Jalen Brunson got it done, 13 points in the fourth quarter. This is a guy who's gotten it done time and time again during the playoffs. We saw it in game one with Wemby, right? He's not a polished offensive player yet. He looks a little unsure of what he wants to get into when he's got the ball. And what I mean by that is, like, when Tyrese Halliburton has the basketball, he wants to get to the rim with his right hand, or he wants that step back going left. Wemby doesn't have anything like that. He's just like, I guess I'm taking a pull-up jumper from the elbow, and that's really it. So because of that, I trust Jalen Brunson with the ball more than any other person in this series. Secondly, they have better shooters than San Antonio does. Okay, space is the number one commodity in the NBA. You have to have space to be able to run your offense. And the Knicks have much better shooting, therefore they have much more space. The Spurs only have two guys that when they shoot the basketball, I expect it to go in. Julian Champagnie and Devin Vassell. Those are the only two. The Knicks willingly left Stephon Castle open multiple times in game one. They were more than willing to let Dylan Harper, as well as he was playing, shoot it from deep. Victor Wembanyama is a streaky shooter at best, and Julian Champagnie is the only player on the Spurs roster who's shooting 40% from three in the playoffs. No one else that's playing for the Spurs is shooting better than 36.5% from three in the playoffs. Okay, the Knicks have 5 players shooting it better than 40% from three in the playoffs. It's not fluky. It's not like they have bad shooters lighting it up, like Miles McBride, Karl Anthony Towns, OG Anunoby, Jose Alvarado, and Landry Shamet are all good shooters. And guess what? That doesn't include guys like Miles Bridges and Jalen Brunson, 2 other good shooters that just aren't shooting it at 40% in the playoffs right now. When you have that much shooting on your roster, your shots should come easier because they can maintain the space. Whereas with San Antonio, they don't have that. That's why every time Victor Wembanyama drove to the rim, he got stripped because OG Anunoby could help off of Stephon Castle. Josh Hart could help off of anyone he was guarding with the exception of Julian Champagnie. It makes it harder to get to the rim when you have guys able to dig in because you don't have respectable shooting around your best player. Okay? Thirdly, the Knicks have the ability to impact what makes the Spurs defense special. And the Spurs do not have the ability to impact what makes the Knicks defense special. Victor Wembanyama's rim protection is why San Antonio has had the best defense, arguably, in the NBA this year. Okay, the Knicks defense is good because they have great wing defenders and they're very connected in their rotations. The Spurs don't really have any way to disrupt that because of the lack of shooting. The rotations are simpler when you don't have to worry about closing out to shooters. Meanwhile, for the Spurs, the Knicks can disrupt Wemby's presence on defense because Karl Anthony Towns can pull Wemby away from the rim. We saw him do that in game one. Okay? And I thought that the Knicks got better looks because of that in game one. The Knicks just didn't make them. I thought the Knicks got better looks offensively compared to what San Antonio got because of the spacing, because of Jalen Brunson's ability to win off the dribble, because of Karl Anthony Towns' ability to beat Wemby off the bounce, and his ability to pull Wemby away from the rim. The Spurs got much tougher shots because of the lack of shooting, and it was also a lot more one-on-one, which drains your energy. I think that's part of why the Spurs were so tired down the stretch. Because everything was like dribble the ball 7 times to take a tough contested jumper. Whereas the Knicks actually had this thing called ball movement. So there's a lot of things on the board that the Spurs are going to have to counter tonight in game 2. But here's the thing. They don't need to do that much, especially on defense. Like, even though I do think we're going to see Wemby get switched on to Josh Hart because that'll allow him to be at the rim more. Because, again, Josh Hart is really the only guy that plays for New York that can't shoot. Because of that, like, they'll make that switch. They'll have Wemby help Stephon Castle, because I'm assuming they'll put Castle on Karl Anthony Towns. And then Wemby can just kind of fly around and help people wherever it's needed. Okay? But ultimately for San Antonio, they don't need to make that many adjustments. The game was tied with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left to go. Your offense just wasn't good enough to close the game. So defensively, honestly, if they didn't change anything, I think they'll be fine. Usually when you only give up 105 points, you have a decent chance to win. With that being said, offensively, they've got to figure out a way to get the Knicks defense to move around a little bit more. We're going to talk about that. We'll talk about some other adjustments that the Spurs can make coming up at probably about 2:05 or so, because we're going to do trivia for your chance to win a couple of tickets to Holiday World. That phone number is 317-228-1430. Again, the number is 317-228-1430. Call in. We're going to ask you 5 questions, 5 trivia questions about amusement parks, since we're giving out tickets to Holiday World. Guess what? You can go 0 for 5 with 5 strikeouts, a nice little golden sombrero for you. And we'll still give you the tickets because Chris and I are nice guys. 317-228-1430. That is the number. Call in now for those tickets. Before we get to the trivia, we're going to producer Chris with your sports update.
It'd still be cool if you tried, though. You can still try. Try to get the answers right.
No one's ever gotten all 5 correct.
It's the first time for everything. First time Friday right here. A few stories trending this hour. Mandatory minicamp for the Colts begin on Tuesday. Training camp will begin after the summer break, in late July out at Grant Park in Westfield. Also, the Chicago Bears Board of Directors voted yesterday to advance stadium development in Hammond, Indiana. Sounds like it'll be about 15 miles from Soldier Field near Wolf Lake and Lost Marsh Golf Course, if you know whereabouts that is. The Fever opened their Commissioner's Cup schedule with a win last night, defeating the Atlanta Dream 83-71 and improving their record to 5-4 on the season. Caitlin Clark finished with 17 points, 8 assists, 7 rebounds. They'll try to get another win in the column tomorrow night when they face the New York Liberty. Purdue's Braden Smith was supposed to headline today's pre-draft workout for the Pacers, but withdrew from the session. However, IU's Sam Alexis was evaluated, so good for him. Spurs look to even the series in the NBA Finals against the Knicks. Game 2 tonight at 8:30 on ABC. And the Stanley Cup Finals are tied at 1 game apiece after the Carolina Hurricanes topped the Vegas Golden Knights last night in overtime, 4-3. More with the real Jonathan Smith Show after the break and your shot at Holiday World tickets on Indy Sports Ticket 1430.
Looked is he was one of the best hitting shortstops for the Reds. In 1966, he set the home run mark for Red shortstops with 20, a record that stood for 30 years. And on this date, June 5th in 1966, Leo had his biggest home run day, 4 home runs in a Sunday afternoon doubleheader at Crosley Field, 2 home runs in each game, and 8 RBIs. A slugfest for Leo Cardenas this June 5th, this date in Reds baseball.
This date in Reds baseball is brought to you by the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame and Museum, presented by Dinsmore. Celebrating greatness, preserving history, providing inspiration.
Let's do this. It's the Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket, 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
317-228-1430. That is the number if you want a chance to win a couple of tickets to Holiday World. Welcome into the Real Jonathan Smith Show here on Indy Sports Tickets. Thank you for tuning in, no matter how you're tuning in. YouTube, Indy Sports Ticket. If you want to head over there and subscribe, you can watch the show on X__Jonathan Smith to follow me there and watch the show there. You can also listen on the Indy Sports Ticket app. And you can call in at 317-228-1430 for your chance to win a couple of tickets to Holiday World.
I know Ross was talking about Indiana Beach,
Yeah.
right? I didn't know that was still open, but I thought there was another one, like in Santa Claus, Indiana.
Yeah,
What was that
that's Holiday World.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, there you go. It's all right. Hey,
Hey,
things we learned today on the Real Jonathan Smith Show. Holiday World's in Santa Claus, Indiana.
I promise I know more than what I look like.
What do you look like? No one can see you.
A milk dud.
Oh, wow. How many times did you get called that? Because I certainly.
No, never. But
Okay.
that's what I think.
Okay, fair enough.
Once
funny.
we get the camera in here, you guys will be able to see me. Maybe you can hear me a little better too, because I took a little poofy thing off the microphone. And apparently that makes a difference.
Okay.
So I might sound a little clearer now.
You know how much attention I pay? Never noticed. Never noticed.
Well, all right.
Oh, man. All right, 317-228-1430. If someone doesn't call in here shortly, we'll have Chris do it. We'll give it to him to someone in the YouTube chat, I guess. We do something like that, right? Yeah, 317-228-1430 for your chance to win a couple of tickets to Holiday World. We'll give it till 2:04, so you got 70 seconds to call in before they go to someone in the YouTube chat. We'll still do the trivia because why not? Dude, have you gotten on 82and0.com yet?
I tried it a little bit yesterday, but I haven't messed with it enough to go 82-0.
Man, I went 82and0 quickly. Now I'm on 20and0.com. Same thing, but with football. Can't do it. I've tried so many times, and the number of times I've gone 19-1 is infuriating. So eventually, we'll get there. I just went 18-2. Don't know how, but hey, it's fine. Timothy Bowman over on X saying, if the Knicks win tonight, would it be overreacting to say New York will have a broom shortage? Absolutely not. People are going to be pulling up to MSG and, chimney sweep outfits, carrying around brooms. That'll probably be more of an outside the stadium thing. But yeah, it'll sell out quickly in New York if they go up 3-0 tonight. All right. No one's called in, so it's someone in the YouTube chat's very, very lucky day.
Let's give him to Otter Creek because it's his birthday.
Yeah, that works.
Otter Creek,
OC.
congratulations.
Congrats, man. All right.
Ooh, that's loud.
Yeah. A little loud there. It's okay. All right. So, Chris. Oh, wait.
Yep.
Someone just called in. What do we do here?
Give him to Otter Creek and, I don't know, whoever's calling.
We got to give him to whoever's calling. Certainly.
Hey, what's going on?
Is this C. Fitch? Oh, it's Eric.
Hey, man, hold on a second.
Yeah, no. We'll give him to Eric. Sorry, OC. If someone calls in, like, we have to reward the effort. Eric, what's going on, man? How are you?
What's happening? How are you doing?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. Congratulations.
It's Friday, guys. It's Friday.
It
Time
is.
for a beer.
Hey, how
That
about
is
2
correct.
beers? How about 2
Or a 6.
or 6? How about you drink all 6 of them at Holiday World? I think that would be. I don't know how that would go.
Those are not
It's
free.
not bad down there.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine drinking 6 beers and getting on a roller coaster. I don't think that would go well at all.
To be fair, I'm going to make sure OC gets some tickets for his birthday, too.
Okay, that works. All right, Eric, you ready to do some trivia?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. If you were listening earlier, then you should get this one right. Which amusement park is widely recognized as the oldest continuously operating park in the world? A, Bakken in Denmark. B, Lake Compounce here in the USA. C, Tivoli Gardens in Denmark. Or D, Prater in Austria.
Hey,
Hey! He was listening earlier. I like it. All right, number 2. As of 2026, Six Flags Great Adventure New Jersey is famous for holding the record for the tallest roller coaster in the world. What is its name? A, Top Thrill 2. B, King Dakar. C, Fury 325.
I think it's Millennium Force, but I'm not sure.
It is B, King Dakar. Just a
God damn it.
oh, good. You can say that's fine. You can say you don't have to buzz that one.
Okay.
Number 3. What iconic snack, a deep fried chow pastry dusted in cinnamon sugar, was introduced in Disneyland in 1985 and quickly became a park staple? A, Dole Whip. B, turkey leg. C, churro. Or D, funnel cake.
Funnel cake.
No, it's churro. Close though.
Damn it.
Yep.
I'm like Eric excited too.
You're so close, Eric. You're so close. Here we go. All right. Number 4. Cedar Point, located in Sandusky, Ohio, is famously built on what type of geographical feature? A, a natural island in the middle of a river. B, a peninsula extending into Lake Erie. C, a man-made plateau. Or D, a valley surrounded by canyons.
B.
You're correct. It is B. There it is. All right, last one for you, Eric. Which of these legendary roller coaster designs is responsible for inventing the modern tubular steel track, which allowed coasters to do smooth loops and corkscrews? A, Ron Toomer, who created aerodynamics. B, John Allen. C, Werner Stengel. Or D, Harry Traver.
C.
It is A, Ron Toomer. 2 out of 3 there, though, is not bad.
Son of a bleep.
Eric, what are you doing over there, man? You working today? How's your Friday going so far?
I'm at a stinking Walmart up here in Auburn playing with stupid doors.
Playing with doors at Walmart?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Are you like
They're
fixing
putting in
doors?
they're putting in a new addition up here, and we're putting in all their freezer doors and crap.
Okay.
Oh, that sounds terrible.
There you go.
Well, be careful doing that.
100%, brother.
Absolutely. Well, Eric, thank you for calling in. Thank you for listening. I appreciate the energy. If you hold on the line, we'll
Yeah,
have
you
Chris.
guys have a good one.
Thank you. You too. We'll have Chris grab your information so we can get you those tickets. All right.
All right.
Awesome. Thank you, Eric. Hey, that's a caller right there. A lot of energy.
Solid.
That's great. That's how someone should respond to getting Holiday World tickets.
Right?
I would
Yeah.
think.
Absolutely. Maybe he was a few beers in already. I don't know. But
you can ask him. You got to get his information. We'd love to
I mean,
know.
That's cool if you did. That's
Yeah.
cool. Put
All
on
right.
Doors at Walmart.
Tonight, we got game 2 of Spurs and Knicks in the NBA Finals. And, I talked a little bit about some of the adjustments that we may see from the Knicks, from the Spurs, or some of the things that they're going to have to counter. Here's what I'm kind of expecting them to do. First, they're going to switch Victor Wembanyama onto Josh Hart. I was very surprised at the start of game 1 when he wasn't guarding Josh Hart. I'm going to be even more surprised if he's not defending Josh Hart to start game 2. That's going to allow him to do the stuff that he does well. And by that, I mean just allow him to be around the rim more, because Josh Hart isn't a good shooter. Okay? It'll be up to Hart to shoot the Spurs out of that defense if that is in fact what the Spurs decide to do, switching that matchup. Okay? So I'm locked into that tonight. If that does happen, they'll probably put Stephon Castle onto Karl Anthony Towns. That's what they did during the regular season. And then whenever Karl Anthony Towns drives or posts up, they'll have Wemby help when needed, because help will be needed if they put Stephon Castle onto Karl Anthony Towns. So, secondly, this is the other adjustment that I'm looking for tonight from the San Antonio Spurs. Their offense is going to be better simply because I think they're going to do a better job of not standing around and watching. I think we'll see more pick and roll, even though I thought the Knicks did a really nice job of defending Wemby when he rolled to the rim. He's like Steph Curry when he rolls to the rim. Like with Steph, like when he comes off of an off-ball screen and you know he's going to come open and he catches the basketball, there is just mass panic because this 6'3" guy is going to knock down a three if you leave him open, right? And so his gravity when he's coming off of these screens really impacts defenses. With Wemby, it's the exact same thing, except it's when he rolls to the rim. Like when he rolls to the rim, you cannot allow him to get behind you, because if he gets behind your defense, it is a dunk. Like, go ahead and put 2 points on the board. It's a dunk. It's a layup. He's getting fouled. Something bad is going to happen if Wemby gets behind your defense. And so whenever he rolls, you see defenses react with almost a panic. And to the Knicks' credit, I thought they did a nice job defending that in game one. We'll see if they can do it again in game two, because it's one of the best sources of offense for San Antonio is Wemby setting that high ball screen, mainly for De'Aaron Fox, and then rolling behind the defense. I don't think Wemby caught a single alley-oop in game one. That's abnormal. He only had the one dunk that I can remember with the left hand. He had to create that shot himself as well. So they've got to find a way to get him some more easy dunks. Like they should get 6 to 10 free points every night off of Wemby just rolling to the rim and getting a dunk. They didn't get any in game one. So very intrigued to see how San Antonio tries to generate more easy buckets. And tonight, I am taking the San Antonio Spurs. Because outside of those two things that I laid out, switching, Wemby from Cat onto Hart, getting him open a little more often when he rolls to the rim, I don't think that they need to change much. Like, the game was tied with 2 minutes and 16 seconds left. They were outscored by 17 points in the second half because their offense got stagnant. If they just find a way to move the basketball better, if they find a way to not turn the ball over, because they turned it over a crap ton of times in game one. I mean, Wemby alone turned the ball over 6 times. That's a tough thing to bounce back from. And they turned it over a total of 13 times. That's 4 more times than New York did. So if they can stop the turnovers, if they can move the ball a little bit more on offense, then they'll be just fine. So I like San Antonio tonight. I think we're going to get an awesome game 3 in New York. With that being said, the Knicks are going to shoot the basketball better tonight because they shot it horrifically in game one. I think, the Spurs, you can say the exact same thing about them. They'll shoot the ball better. But, I like the matchup for New York a little bit better than I do San Antonio after game one. Sometimes game one's a facade. We'll see if that's true or not as this series continues. But if Karl Anthony Towns can stay out of foul trouble, then I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks went up 2-0 tonight. And if that happens, the Garden will be going absolutely insane for game 3. Either way, I like San Antonio tonight. I still like the Knicks in 6, and we will see how it goes. Chris, you've got...
Did you say in the Garden? Aren't they in San Antonio tonight?
Game 3 in the Garden.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, my bad.
No worries. I just wanted to make sure I was hearing you correctly. But on top of that, I'm interested to see what other fun stuff San Antonio fans bring to the game. You had a double bubble girls. You had the fan running on the court for selfies that ended up just being his face and Wemby's chest. What do you think we see tonight? Any place bets on crazy fan stuff in San
I
Antonio?
think we see a fan descend from the rafters to get a selfie with Wemby. We see a little adjustment. It's like, hey, if we run out onto the court, we're not getting a selfie. We got to come in from up top if we actually want to get Wemby's face in it.
They would shut it down in San Antonio.
That'd
They're
be
like,
wild.
we're playing in the bubble from now on.
That'd
like
be
back in
incredible.
COVID or whatever.
Someone sneaks up on the catwalk up top and slowly descends down. Oh man,
Wouldn't be surprised though.
that's so funny. That'd be awesome. That'd be incredible. Yeah, no way. But we're gonna talk to Tony East about it. We'll talk about the Fever win last night as well with Tony. He's been at Pacer workouts. We'll see if there's anybody that pops. I know Braden Smith was supposed to work out with the Pacers, but that got canceled. So I don't think he showed up today. We'll talk to Tony a little bit about that as well. We'll talk about the lunacy, or what I perceive as lunacy, of a Trey Murphy trade with him as well. All that is coming up here at 2:20.
may, one day, be a must-listen for sports enthusiasts.
Yeah, and monkeys might fly out of my butt.
The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
Friend of the show, Tony East, joins now to talk a little Indiana Pacers, Indiana Fever, and, of course, the NBA Finals. Tony, let's start. First and foremost, how are you? Let's start there.
I'm great. I am great. There's finally like a gap in the schedule of home events for me for once.
I know, man. What are you going to do with all this extra time on your hands?
Fever on the road, draft workouts are not hot and heavy. I don't know. I truly do not know. I mean, watch the finals, obviously, but outside of that, I got nothing.
All right, fair enough. I'm moving. That's what I'm doing with all this extra time.
Where? Well, actually, don't dox yourself.
Yeah.
I want to know, but not on this.
I'll text you. I got you. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Closer to where I work, which is really nice.
There you go.
So let's start with the Pacers, because I feel like anytime anything bad happens to a franchise, it's always met with like a crazy overreaction. Like the Thunder lose in 7 games to the Spurs without their second best player, and everyone's like, trade Chet Holmgren, maybe trade Jalen Williams. And I'm like, I don't know. How about they just hold on to everybody? They were pretty good when they all played. And with the Pacers, there was this expectation of like, we're going to get a top 4 player in this draft and it's going to be awesome. That didn't happen. And now everyone's like, I guess we got to go get Trey Murphy. As of right now, obviously Giannis hasn't been traded yet. I just kind of feel like the Pacers should roll with what they have. What do you think about all these Trey Murphy trades that keep getting published?
Yeah, I don't even know why the Pelicans would trade him. They're not a good team, but they have no reason to like just get picks all of a sudden and be kind of crappy. He's good. I mean, the reason the Pacers would want him is that he's good. He's definitely good. He would start and close games, but I agree with you in that, like, I get wanting good players on your team, but if I'm the Pacers, before I do anything else in terms of sending away lots of assets or young players or anyone on their core, right? They know their core is very good now before doing anything else. I want to know how good Zubac is as a part of this team before, what if the way he plays means that they have some other thing that they could use, like a different kind of wing would really help them, or, anything else. Or what if Halliburton's not as good coming back from the Achilles, right? I want to know the level of those two things. If they're both great, if they both look awesome, and there's a chance that, if I'm the Pacers, I can win right away. Yeah, I'd go make upgrades mid-season, maybe get Trey Murphy then. But, right this second seems like not the time to do it. I'm not even saying that it's like a bad idea if it's a good player. It's just, if there's a better use of the resources later, they might be awesome now. So I don't know that it's like a stupid idea. I just don't know that I'd be like, oh my gosh, this has to happen right this second. I think it just got out of control and you went to that Fever game with Tyrese, honestly.
Yeah, that didn't help at all. But yeah, I'm like, just show a little bit of patience. The problem with being patient is you get bored. And when you get bored, I guess you come up with Trey Murphy trades. I don't know. Speaking of the Fever, hold the dream to 29 points in the first half last night. Caitlin Clark only turning the ball over 3 times. They win by 12. I thought that was the best that they've looked all year last night.
Yeah, Caitlin Clark puking and rallying too, man. I mean, that was big time halftime. And yeah, they look great on defense for the first time. They've had some like good defensive moments, but none of them against it. I mean, Atlanta's offense isn't awesome, but it's a good team with good players, and they were awesome on defense in the first half and pretty good for most of the second half. And that's what they needed. Like the loss against Portland was so bad and so frustrating in so many ways. Like they couldn't execute anything. They couldn't stop. Like they were helpless. They were down 20, like basically the whole game. And so to have a week where they talked all about, they have to focus on these things. They have to show some connection, and to come out and actually do it against a good team. That was their best win of the season, I think, was really important just for like a normal day, right? No one with the Fevers had a normal day. It feels like for a week plus. And so to have a normal day, to look good on defense, they didn't even play that well on offense and still comfortably won the game. And I think that is a big deal for them, and to know that, okay, they can be what they hope to be. They just have to execute. They weren't executing at all, and they finally did. And, that they'll be tested with better offenses soon. Their schedule in June is not super easy, but this was a good start to the month and a much needed kind of day, I think, given where they've gone a little bit recently.
Joined by Tony East, who does a great job covering the Fever and the Pacers. You can follow him on X at Tony R. East. I think part of why it feels like they haven't had just a normal day in a week is because anytime anything happens to Caitlin Clark, it's not her fault. But it's like the world is ending.
Yeah.
Her and Stephanie White get into it in the huddle. I didn't think it was a big deal. I was just like, this happens sometimes when competitive people disagree on something. Like, this doesn't rise to the levels of the Fred Hoiberg and Jimmy Butler issues in Chicago or anything like that. And then, last night, Caitlin hugs Coach White after they go on a little run. And it's just like, yeah, I think things are fine. What did you make of kind of that scenario and where are they at now?
Yeah, I get why in a frustrating game people were like, this is such a bad thing. But you're right, we see spats like this all the time. Like, isn't there that video of Caitlin like slapping the clipboard and punching the chair? She wasn't like hitting, like verbally statting with the coach, but like she's had emotive moments on the bench before dating back to college. And this, like, again, it's not like a good sign when everybody's frustrated on the bench and they're taking it out internally. But I've seen this in sports many times. Like, very rarely is it more than what they said, a frustrating moment in a bad game. And if you'll recall, I don't remember if this might have been your first year here when Greg Foster and Goga Batadze got into a fight that they suspended Greg Foster for a game. Like, that to me is when it's like, oh crap, like this is actually a problem or like something that needs to be addressed. Like, it wasn't even close to that. And yeah, I mean, everybody speaks for her and assumes they hate each other and there's problems, and there's not. They played a bad game and everybody was upset and they had to answer for it, which is no fun. And they answered for it. Now it's over. Like, that's honestly how it should be. And now it's time for some normalcy. And yeah, in a lot of ways you feel for Caitlin, who just is a normal person who's wonderfully good at basketball. And now everything she does is so under the microscope and everybody has an opinion on it. And it's just absurd.
I think Tim Tebow's the closest thing we've had to this.
That's a good question. What's funny about that is that's probably true. It's so hard to compare it for me to like, because social media's influence on sports is just constantly getting bigger.
Yeah.
You're right. Like, so like the next major thing will be bigger than this, if that makes sense. So like, I think you're right. Like, compared to the amount of attention people had to whatever the main medium of sports consumption is. So in the Tebow time, it was television, right?
Yep.
Yes, that was like the massive amount of attention and dedication. And yeah, he followed through on it at the time. And yeah, I think that is a good one. Linsanity for like a week.
Yeah.
Tiger Woods at times. Yes, I agree. But it's like, it's not all the time, but when there's two controversy-ish things in 10 days, it becomes absurd.
It really does. Again, joined by Tony East, talking Fever and Pacers and the NBA Finals. So I love Pacer fans, and I love the passion that Pacer fans have. I think, personally, this is a good market for me to be in because I think I love basketball as much as Hoosiers do. I keep seeing this take, though, and I don't know if I agree with it. Like, this idea that the Pacers would have beat the Knicks this year just because they beat them the last 2 years, I know I'm not supposed to say, I don't know if that happens, but like the Knicks have won 12 straight playoff games by 10 points or more. What do you make of that take? I don't necessarily agree with it, but what do you think?
I think the Pacers would have beaten everybody else in the East pretty easily this year.
Yeah.
In the playoffs. Yeah, the Knicks gave the Pacers the most trouble last year. It went 6 games, and that included the miracle game 1 win. Like, if that game flips, last year's Pacers-Knicks series goes 7 anyway. And they beat them in 7 in MSG 2 years ago. So I'm not even saying they would have lost. It's just like they've played 2 very competitive series the last couple of years, and this Knicks team is better. Like, they're using their depth more. Their depth is better. Cat is playing the best he ever has in the playoffs. And you know me, Jonathan, I'm as numbers pilled as they come. I got a number for everything. I have a stat. I want to talk about the stats. I don't care about the stats with Jalen Brunson. Like, took him 31 shots to score 30 points in game 1, and I was like, yep, he was awesome. He was great in crunch time. He rose to the moment. He got better throughout the game. He fought through injuries. Like, he's just defying every stat of like as a metric to evaluate how he's playing. And that's how you know a team is playing well, when they can just sort of defy what it seems like is happening in places that aren't what you're seeing with your eyes. And the Knicks keep doing it. So could the Pacers have beaten them? Yeah, they could have. They beat them the last 2 years, but it would not have been as easy or fait accompli as everybody seems to think.
Yeah, and we got to remember, I love Coach Tibbs. I loved those like 2010 Bulls teams. Mike Brown's just done a better job. I think it's hard to argue with that. And so, like, their offense is better. Like you said, Karl Anthony Towns has been better. It's really weird. Speaking of numbers, he's touching the ball like 20 more times a game on average, but he's taking fewer shots, but he's more involved. It's really weird. And he was awesome in game one. Like, I love Brunson. Right. I picked the Knicks in part because I think Brunson's the best offensive player in the series. But I thought Karl Anthony Towns was the reason why they won game one.
I thought Cat was their best player in the game, especially in that first half when Brunson was out of the game in the back for a little bit, and he was like fine when he was playing, but he was definitely better in the second half than the first half. Like I felt this way last year at times too. I mean, the most stress. This is not their best lineup now, but last year under Tibbs, their best lineup against the Pacers a lot of the times was just like Cat and 4 shooters, or like Cat, Deuce McBride, and 3 shooters. It just, for some reason, the spacing and it just tore up what the Pacers were trying to do. And so they go to this lineup to start the second quarter. I even posted it where they had Shamet, McBride, and Jose Alvarado on the floor with Cat, and I forget who the 4 was. And I thought, oh man, like they're way too small. The Spurs just went on a run, like they're about to be in trouble. And then they went on a run and they came right back in it. And it's because Cat was like fearlessly driving at Wemby and shooting and being this hub. He's been so good in this playoffs. He's actually lifted so many of the players around him. It's been so impressive, especially given what kind of the playoff narrative around him has been the last couple of years. And, for all the warts he does have, he was great in that game. And I'm glad he's having like a finals moment. There's no more like questions about what he is or can be.
Joined by Tony East talking about the NBA Finals. Your comment on the Knicks feeling like they were too small when they went to that lineup is interesting, because when you look at the Spurs, they play 4 guards in Wemby a lot. Like Vassell's the second tallest guy for them, and he's like 6'6" probably, which I think is problematic for them because the Knicks are like, I know that Jalen Brunson's short, but you don't get the nickname Big Body Brunson if you're skinny, And so the size has been interesting. I like the Knicks. I know we were texting before game one. Like, I like the Knicks because of what we saw at the end of the game. I know everybody loves Wemby, but his let me get an easy shot for my team is not something he's great at yet, which is okay because he's 22. Whereas with Brunson, I just trust him more down the stretch. And I feel like if we have close games like this, it's going to be tougher for the Spurs because they're going to go to Wemby, who I just don't think is as good at that as Jalen Brunson is.
Yeah, the Knicks had it, like, this is extreme because stopping Wemby is hard, but they had him like kind of downloaded in a way nobody else has in the postseason. Like, he loves to try to get it to the elbow and he can spin from there. He's so long and tall that one dribble, he gets to the basket from there, even without already being running, like if he's stopped. So he's just really good at the mid-post creation, passing, whatever. And it didn't work. Like, the Knicks had somebody ready for the spin. They had somebody on him. They were ready to poke down when he dribbled. They got a couple steals from that. And so his usual counters are like make more threes, or they just throw a million lobs over the top. And they never got to that. Like, the guards, especially Fox and Castle, did not have good vision in this game. And so I think they need to find a way to get Wemby touches either closer or farther from the basket. Doesn't matter which one. But the problem is Brunson is more undeniable, where his touch point doesn't matter. Like, he can get to a shot he wants, to your point, in those crunch time moments. Even after he struggled for a bit there and the Spurs made a comeback, he still found a way, because I think he's a little more undeniable right this second, to do things late. Whereas Wemby, outside of that 1-3 he hit to cut it to 3 late, couldn't really do that. So, maybe they'll have other answers. Like, Fox can be way better, but I agree that of those two guys specifically, especially, Brunson is a lot more manageable in those late game moments.
Yeah, instead of Fox being better, they could just close the game with Dylan Harper. That's an option as well.
That? Why did they not do that?
I was shocked when they took him out. Like, look, De'Aaron Fox is a really good player, max contract guy for a reason, but he's 3 of 13 from the floor. Dylan Harper was the Spurs' best offensive player in game one. I was really surprised. Once
Champagnie stopped hitting threes, it was just him.
Yeah, Champagnie didn't make a 3 in the second half. He started pretty hot. But I don't know. I think we're in for a really good series. I was really impressed. You were talking about how I don't think Wemby caught a single alley-oop in game one. I think he only had one dunk. And I think part of that, because before the playoffs, I said the Spurs wouldn't win because of their youth and their lack of three-point shooting. And I thought that every time he rolled to the basket, which is terrifying, by the way, like I equate it to Steph Curry curling off of a screen and he's open for three. Everybody's just in this panic mode because as soon as Wemby gets behind your defense, it's a dunk. And I thought OG Anunoby, it was him a lot. He did such a good job coming down from the corner to cut him off. And I didn't feel like the Spurs had enough shooting to really open up the roll. Did you notice that as well?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot of space for that at all. Like, again, the Knicks were, I think, the most in touch with Wemby's tendencies and hopes as anybody has been. And, Champagnie can certainly shoot, but, like, is anyone else really putting the fear of you as a shooter on the Spurs? I don't think so. I'm down making sure I'm not blanking on
maybe
anybody.
Vassell, maybe.
Yeah, I was going to say Vassell has heaters, but in this playoffs, he hasn't been that. Like, I'm really willing to, like, early in game sag off of him and then change the plans if he's hitting, but, like, Harrison Barnes, Keldon Johnson, like, prove it, guys, prove it. If they do, great, maybe you lose, but, it makes it a lot harder to have the tall guy have space or just let him cut the basket. So I do think the Spurs can and will adjust. I mean, they have lost games at home in every series so far, but not the greatest, like, tactical game for them, certainly.
It wasn't. Again, joined by Tony East, who does a great job covering the Pacers and the Fever, does a great job covering the NBA in general. We're talking a little bit of finals here. I mean, the one adjustment I expect to see is Wemby on Josh Hart. Outside of that, though, I don't really know what to expect. What are you kind of looking for in this game in terms of adjustments from San Antonio?
Yeah, Wemby guarded like everybody at times, which was goofy. He was on Hart not as much as I thought. I do agree they should do that more. He was on Cat to start the game. He had a couple possessions on Brunson randomly. It was like, oh, I guess this is fine. He can kind of guard anybody, but why? Like, why are you switching this around so much? And like every other team at some point when they play the Knicks are like, okay, we'll put our center on Josh Hart. And Josh Hart still didn't do anything on offense, even with that kind of being more dynamic in the first game. So, yes, I think that is something they will try to do and then put whoever their other, a four on Cat and call it a day. Like Tobias Harris was a good defender of Cat last year. Fours have done well against him at times. So I think that's something that they could look to do. Anything that makes Wemby able to be a little bit more disruptive of the spaced out Knicks that just try to drive and throw stuff at the rim all the time. And it works pretty well with Brunson and things like that, but they just have a lot of shooters or a lot of decent shooters. And so it's going to be hard to have him roam as much, which I think is why they didn't put him on Hart the whole game. But, if Shamit's hitting like that, it's going to be tough. He's been unbelievable. But, I think they'll try to plan him on a more singular matchup in the next game and try to beat Cat with somebody else or slow down Cat with somebody else.
I'm trying to think of another time because you mentioned Josh Hart not doing much offensively, and you're 1,000% correct.
You're still good.
Plus 22, only scoring 3 points is absurd. I can't think of anybody else that I've seen do that.
Dude, he's like the perfect role player. Like he does every single thing pretty well, and he can do things on offense. It's not like it's like a joke when he dribbles or shoots or anything. It's just he's so much better at everything else. And I don't know how he it's not even like he's jumping so high or has some crazy. I guess it's mostly timing, but he could just get a rebound in any situation. It's just very impressive the way that he takes his limitations and still turns out to be a very strong, useful player all the time with any other teammates on the floor.
Yeah, I love Josh Hart. He's annoying when he's playing against your team. He's like the guy in pickup that you draft just so you don't have to play against him. And I'm working on a Josh Hart theory. I need to do more research into it. But I think part of why he's such a good role player is he had that year in Portland where he was like a legitimate offensive option and he averaged 20 a game and they were terrible. And I think once that happens, unless you're Jeremy Grant, you realize that if I'm the main option, we're not going to win very many games. I need to find more guys to support that theory, but I think that's a real thing for him.
Yeah, and then he got traded for a first rounder and never played like that ever again, ever again in his entire career. That's I mean, a lot of guys go show what they're capable of, I guess, on crappy teams, and then you're like, oh, and especially when it's not that fun. Okay, your team's just kind of okay, and okay, are you getting paid a lot from this? No, because nobody thinks it's really helping a team win. So like, you got to do other stuff, right? And a lot of teams believed he could. He got traded many times because people thought he was talented to New Orleans, to Portland, et cetera. But, they learn in those moments like, oh man, being like more productive on a crummy team is not the way. This is not fun.
Yeah, losing is not fun. Surprise, surprise. Last thing for you, Tony, and I'll let you go. I know you said you liked the Spurs to win the series. In how many games, and who do you like to win tonight?
I picked the Spurs. I just told people Spurs in a long one. I didn't really pick a number, so I have an unfair advantage of now saying 7 because they lost the first game.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I think they'll win tonight. I think their floor is higher because of Wemby, even though he wasn't that good in the first game. They do have a lot to think about, but I like that. We talked about all these things we think could change or be different. Like Wemby himself took the podium after the game and was like, yeah, dude, like we don't have to change it. Like, I just got to play better. Right. I like that he dumbed it down to that extent. And I think guys who care the way he does and talk the way he does can certainly do a lot and are capable of a lot. So I'm picking the Spurs to win, and how they handle the MSG lights of the finals will be, I think, how this series is ultimately decided.
So I have a new question that I ask people whenever they take a team in 7, because sometimes you're like, I guess I'll take the Spurs in 7 because they have home court advantage in Game 7.
Yeah,
but is it like, if you couldn't take the Spurs in 7, would you take the Spurs in 6, or how? Like, what would you pick then?
I would pick Spurs in 6. Like, I think we've seen a lot of the home court advantage part of the playoffs become less important in the 3-point era, honestly, of late. Like, we saw that in the East not quite a bit. We saw that in the East a few times this year, and so it'll be the Spurs and the Cavs, for example, winning huge Game 7s on the road in this postseason. The Pacers obviously did it in MSG 2 years ago. It still matters. Like, teams would prefer to have the Game 7 at home than on the road, as the final showed last year, but it certainly is not as important as it used to be. I'm mostly just picking 7 because I think the teams are even, and it's going to be a longer series, not because I think that if I went to 6, I'd pick the Knicks.
Okay, that makes sense. Last thing for real here, because whenever I say last thing, that's never the last thing. My producer Chris asked me this question earlier. So in the Western Conference Finals, we had the double bubble girls in San Antonio. Game 1 of the finals, we have the fan running out onto the court to take the selfie with Wemby. I don't know how that works. Is it like you with just like his chest? I don't think it's a great strategy. If anything crazy happens tonight, what do you think it'll be?
Yeah, what happened to those fans who were in Minnesota gluing themselves to the court? Remember that?
Yes.
Are they going to come back? Maybe the Nuns will do something tonight. They've been everywhere. They're always courtside. I predict the Nun somehow gets involved in a play. That we need just the constant craziness. And then we go to MSG, and it's MSG, and the president's going to be there. There will never be anything normal in this series.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, there's an alien on the floor. That rules out normalcy immediately.
Very true.
All right, Tony, thanks for your time, man.
You got it, man. Take care.
See you. That is Tony East. Check him out on X at Tony R. East. He writes in several different places, does an excellent job. The9sports.com, where he covers the Fever, Circle City Spin, Forbes Sports, where he covers the Pacers. Of course, he's got Locked On Pacers as well. He was at workouts today for potential undrafted free agents, or maybe we see the Pacers trade into the first or second round to grab somebody in this year's draft. So if you want updates on all those things, go and check out Tony East. Woo! Man, I don't know. I'm trying to drink more water because it's burning up in here, and I keep having to burp during the show.
It's just bad timing because you're like Tony East.
Seriously, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And so, oh man, what a show! What a great day. We will wrap up the show. A little more Knicks and Spurs Game 2. Game 3 is going to be on Monday as well. Game 1 was ugly. Got to shoot it better, both teams, but I do think that the Knicks have a better chance of being better offensively than San Antonio tonight. I'll tell you why in 3 minutes.
Best takes? Maybe. The Real Jonathan Smith Show on Indy Sports Ticket 1430 AM, 93.9 HD2, and always on the free Indy Sports Ticket app.
We have more breaking news from the NCAA. Four ex-Alabama State men's basketball players were paid to fix the outcome of a 2024 game, the NCAA claims. Now, I don't think the NCAA would make these claims without any real proof. Brendan Sorsby betting on his own team, these four Alabama State players. If I was a student athlete today, I would not own a smartphone. So serious. Like, what good is there for you? Oh, well, you got to be able to get on Instagram and Twitter. No, you don't. Don't even give them the opportunity to accuse you of throwing games and things like that. Get rid of the smartphone. Okay? Carry around a big old iPad that everyone can see what you're doing on. That way you're not doing anything stupid. These college guys, man. Jeez Louise. Like, just don't even get involved in it. It's not that hard. Okay? It's not like you're short on money anymore. You've got people paying you. You're good. Just stay away from it. It's not that hard. Jeez Louise. All right. Here's the other thing. Unless Chris has thoughts on that. If not, that's fine. No? Take the Spurs tonight to win and cover. The line is currently set at the Spurs, favored by 6.5. It's a lot of points, but Wemby should be better tonight. I think that they'll shoot the ball as a whole better. So will the Knicks, but again, you can't fake desperation. The Spurs know that if they lose this game, it's tough sledding going forward. So take the Spurs tonight, minus 6.5. And I saw this as well. Chris, I would like your thoughts on this.
Okay.
Victor Wembanyama's agent says that he refuses to endorse soda. Here's the quote from Victor's agent. They all want him, but Victor will never sell soda because he doesn't want to kill the kids. Kill the kids is crazy.
Is that the end of the quote? Or is
That's
there more?
the end of the quote.
That's it?
That's the quote.
Man, I don't know what to think about that.
I like the very subtle implication that LeBron James has been killing kids with his Sprite commercials for the last 25 years.
I mean, before LeBron James, it was Grant Hill. So
yeah. Who was the model who did the Pepsi commercials?
Cindy something.
Cindy Crawford.
Yeah,
Cindy
that
Crawford.
sounds about right.
Yeah, she's you're killing the kids. Is they're endorsing soda?
That's a little much.
I think that's so funny. Oh man, killing the kids because you're endorsing soda. We learned that today. LeBron James.
Right.
LeBron James has been killing the kids for the last 25 years because he's endorsed by Sprite.
Was it a specific soda that Wemby won't do, or is it just soda in general?
He said they all want him. So I'm assuming that's Coke and Pepsi.
What would be the best fit for Wemby if he did decide to do soda, like a specific brand? Like Mellow Yellow or something? I don't know.
Mellow Yellow.
What didn't they have? They used to have a soda that was like alien related or something.
Is there a French one? What about Mountain Dew? Because it's green and like aliens, or when I think alien, I think Martian.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. We're on the right track.
You could do a commercial of Wemby getting dropped off in a spaceship, and the first thing he does is they drop him onto a mountain, and the first thing he does is pick up a Diet Mountain Dew or something like that. I don't know. Those are my ideas. Those are my ideas for a Wemby soda commercial. Pepsi, go ahead and hire me. Actually, no, just sponsor the segment. Soda commercials for famous athletes. I don't know. All right. So are we going over what we learned today, or are we going over what we learned this week? So
this is something that we're going to work on, but first let's play the sounder.
All right, class. What did we learn today?
So I brought up the idea a couple days ago that every Friday, maybe we should just do a what we learned this week, have like a best of, right?
Okay, yeah, that works.
Or I can quiz you and see what everybody learned or what you learned this week.
I don't mind that.
But I do not have the previous ones from this week. Maybe just a few. But next week, next Friday, we'll try it. But
Sounds
as for today, what we learned today, this is going to be all over the place too, because there's a bunch of little things.
We were all over the place in the show.
Today is National Donut Day, but it's also Otter Creek's birthday. So happy birthday!
Happy birthday, OC.
We learned that it is hotter in the studio than Satan's ball sack.
Because it is.
It is absolutely hot in here. We know that I don't know anything about Olympic oddities and defunct sports.
You don't?
Nothing. But maybe learned a little bit about that today. We learned that there's about a 50-50 chance of Jonathan actually listening to you when you tell him something.
Yeah, there were multiple times today where Chris told me something. I was like, can you say that again? I was reading something.
Not starting over.
Sorry.
That just happened. We learned that if you've never seen me before in person, just imagine a walking milk dud.
Yep.
We learned that Holiday World is in Santa Claus, Indiana, and that
Chris learned that Holiday World is in Santa Claus.
You did too. Whatever, Jonathan. All right, so we learned that you're more likely to get injured by a toilet than to see Team USA win the World Cup.
That's right.
I don't know about this one. Hammond, Indiana could become the San Francisco of Indiana if Caleb Williams is still on the team whenever the stadium
that's
is
brutal. Oh, jeez. That's funny.
We also learned that Timothy Bowman on X has an unlimited amount of James Harden jokes.
He really does.
Jonathan,
he really does.
We learned that Jonathan this week did not get a teddy bear when he got stuck in a shed as a kid.
Yeah.
I remember that one.
Yep.
We also learned that Walk On Sports Bistro has some amazing food.
They do.
And finally, we learned this week that leaving a rubber duck on a Jeep might be the same as leaving a pack of Trojans on the windshield of a minivan. That's what
Best
we learned
joke of the week.
this week on The Real Jonathan Smith Show.
Thank you so much for tuning in. We'll be back Monday at noon. I'll be living in a new apartment. I'm sure I'll have a story from moving. We're going to break something.
I'm coming to live with you guys.
Sounds good.
I'm
Come
moving
over.
in too.
We have an extra bedroom now.
Sweet.
So it's nice. It's nice. All right. We will talk to you on Monday. We'll talk finals and so much more. Talk to you on Monday starting at noon.